Okay.
Pledge.
Yep. Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And what time is it? We'll call the meeting to
2:10.
order. At 2:10.
2:10.
And we have Carrie here, and we have Becky, and we have Pat, and Betty,
Yeah.
and myself.
Oh, hey Pat,
He's gonna have to turn it off.
are you watching the YouTube video right now? The feed?
I am trying to get my computer to act right.
Good luck.
Just mute it.
Yeah, if you just want to mute that, because we can hear it on our end, but
Okay.
thank you.
Well, first of all, I'd like to welcome Carrie.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
And Pat. And Pat. And
Yeah.
Pat, yes.
And Pat, you bet.
Right, so,
Welcome.
So we do have a quorum, and, yeah, we've heard Carrie's voice, but we haven't seen it. It's wonderful to have her in person.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, so we have the roll call, have everybody down here. Has everyone read the minutes?
Yes, I move the approval of the minutes of the August 16th, 2023. This says August
August
23, August 16th, and this one says August 19th.
That is June
Which-
21st, or
No.
August?
I have-
Oh, okay, then I have.
The minutes
I have
were
August
August 16th.
16th, are the
Yeah,
ones
see,
I
I have
have.
the same.
August
Oh,
16th.
that,
August
Oh, that's
16th?
from the prior meeting, got it.
oh, no, this is, yeah, that's from the,
Yeah, that's
16th
from
is
the
the
prior.
19th?
Yeah,
Okay.
I totally got confused too.
So Betty, did you get it's the August 16th?
The August 16th
Right, minutes.
minutes, and so this should be changed. It's not the August 19th minutes then.
August 16th, yeah, on the
It
agenda.
Yeah,
says
mine
August
says
16th.
Okay.
Okay, I'd move the approval of the August 16th, 2023 minutes.
I'll second, that's Becky Warner.
Becky Warner. Okay, the minutes have been approved and seconded.
No, we have to vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ooh, this is so much fun. Okay, public comment? I
No,
don't see
the
anyone out
next
there.
item is
What?
Can we move the
Committee-
reorganization till
committee organization.
Barbara maybe shows up at the...
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yep.
sure.
Well, we could. Okay,
We could do it
It's up
in
to you.
abstention.
pardon?
We could nominate people even though they're not here.
Correct.
Okay, I would move the continuation of Barbara as our chairman. She has done a good job for us.
A different meeting in here. Okay.
And that would be my nomination for chairman.
I second. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
That's fine.
Oh, sorry.
Barbara,
Okay? All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Aye, okay.
And for vice chairman, I think that Sherry Smith ought to continue as our vice chairman for the good job that she's been doing.
I would like to second that.
Okay?
Well, thank you.
That's my
Thank
motion.
you.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
We are set.
Okay.
That
Barbara
was
will be
easy,
so
never mind,
happy.
thanks Becky.
We just took care of that.
Yeah,
And
Why
then
not?
Jim is not here,
Mm-hmm.
as
so,
long as Barbara doesn't decline or something.
yes.
Well, if she does, then
And the Friends
We'll
of
talk her into
House
it.
report, items just for discussion.
how about staff liaison report?
Well, he is, yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking Jim
Oh,
for some
Jim.
reason, but let's go with, yeah.
Yeah, so the Mountain House, it's rocking and rolling lately. I'll get to the Island Hopper, but that was a great event.
Was it?
Actually, we can just talk about it now. It did rain on us a little, but we did a nice switcheroo and brought it inside. It was a little crowded in here, but I think it was great. I think everyone had a good time. I think there's plenty of food and drinks for everyone. And it was a great setup. I really enjoyed it, and obviously thank you to Friends for sponsoring that and helping out.
I missed the meeting, where they did the rehash on Monday, but do you know how much was made?
Yeah, raised.
2,800 or I don't know for sure. I could probably look it up. But,
2,800?
let me look. I can look it up while we go to another agenda.
Wow.
item.
Okay.
It was 2,000 something. I don't remember.
Can I ask how many people attended?
Yeah.
66
Oh, wow.
were here, and I don't think that was including all of the volunteers. But
No, I don't think it included volunteers.
yeah. So we
Okay.
sold 66 tickets, and I believe everyone showed up.
Oh, wonderful.
And we had a limit of
Good.
60, but we had some staff people, some Friends people bought tickets and said we're not using the tickets because we're working, so sell them again.
Yes.
So
Oh,
that happened.
fabulous.
So it was a great turnout. It's just a matter of space, parking, that stuff. I mean, we probably could have sold 100 tickets
Yes,
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
we have a limit of people.
inside. Yeah, I mean, we
inside.
can have a bunch outside if
Yeah.
we want, but
I think there might be a limit in our
On the ground?
I think so
documents
too.
for an event.
For an event.
Oh, how many people
Oh,
can
is it?
actually attend?
I think
Oh,
it's a
okay.
possibility. We should know that. I mean, you should know.
I should know that.
Yeah.
Even outside.
I think for a planned event outside, there might be a limit.
Hey, Pat.
One at a time.
Pat, can you mute the YouTube channel?
Oh,
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Limited. So even when we did like Movie on the Mound, we had to limit that. I don't know. I'll look.
I don't know. I think,
I know inside it's 50.
Yeah.
50.
Well,
That's what we're
that's-
supposed to
yeah, that's
have.
the fire department.
Yeah.
Right, but outside, I
Brooke
don't
said she
know.
loved having it inside. The last time she was here, it rained to beat the band, and she also
It
brought
did.
it inside. It
It
was
did.
very cozy, it
Yeah.
was very intimate.
Yes.
She just said it was really nice, which when you hear it from the person, she said she would do anything for the Mount House.
Wow.
And she and Summer come up even from off island, wherever they're living right now, and bring the dogs. So that pleased me greatly to know
Yeah.
that she could be available
But
again.
that is,
Yeah.
that's
Who-
wonderful.
who was
What
that?
an asset.
Brooke,
Oh, Brooke. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, she's
Fantastic.
good.
what's her last name? Brooke what?
Brooke, I'm drawing a blank too.
Oh, I can
Me
think it
too.
was Shields, and that's wrong.
No,
Yeah, not Brooke Shield.
Her,
Stockton. I
her
know
significant
Stockton.
other
Yeah.
is
Summer.
Summer
But I don't-
Summer.
Stockton. And that's Stockton.
Yeah.
You know, but
but I know she, no,
I know it too.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was wonderful.
Yes.
that's great.
And she
that'll be
doesn't
a
go by
great
Stockton.
asset.
Set up and clean up went really well. The extra tables were nice. I mean, even people sat underneath the tent and
Yeah.
listened through the door. So it's not bad.
okay, yeah.
We borrowed, Mari Torgerson was very generous. We borrowed 16 of those little stand-up tables with the little sturdy
Nice.
sort of things, and 2 big buckets for drinks.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, the beer company, the distribution company donated the beer and soda and wine.
Oh, very nice.
Well, that made a huge difference, and they were excited about it. They were here.
Yeah, they came. Yeah.
They came, they had a great time, and they said they'd be
Fabulous.
happy to come back for a friend's thing, so
Yeah.
that was
Who was that that came?
The distribution.
sunshine. Just
Sunshine Beverages.
We should-
Suncoast Beverages. Suncoast Beverages.
if you, I think it's Suncoast Beverages. We
Yeah.
should know that because that should go in the official record.
Yeah, that's very nice of them. And it's the distributor in the area,
Yeah.
liquor.
That's great.
And they brought big troughs that we could ice down for all the stuff.
Fab.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed, because I had just,
Yeah, Suncoast Beverages. So.
Thank
yeah,
you.
I had just gotten back, and then they were doing, kind of like where they were having the island hopper, and they did not mention the Mount House.
It's because it was a closed ticket.
Yeah.
Is that why?
It was a
Okay.
ticketed event.
We couldn't have had,
Okay,
because of the number of people.
got it.
And it was sold out quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sold out.
Okay. Boy, that's
Like
We
cool.
overnight.
didn't, they didn't want people coming and just thinking
Gotcha.
they could get
Okay, I
in.
didn't
And
want
we-
us, I didn't
parking
want
can
us
be a
neglected.
problem. The Baptist church cooperated
Yeah.
nicely,
Yeah,
and we
they were good
parked a lot
partners.
of people there.
Good.
Nice.
So we had some really
Wonderful.
good partners.
Yes, that's what we want to continue. So.
That's
I'll
good.
check on the limit on
Okay.
The
Yeah,
desserts
see
were
if
not
there's-
quite up to par or up to the level they would have been if Sherry had been here. Baking.
Sorry.
Duly noted.
Thank you, Becky. It's good to know I have one talent.
So yeah, that
Anything
was
else,
great.
Jeff?
We
Yeah.
want to do things like that. I know somebody just mentioned they want to do movies on the mound as well, so we want to get those back. Now that it'll be dark a little earlier,
Yes.
we can do it that way, which is great. Somebody,
How many could we have from,
well, that's what I'm gonna
Well,
check
yeah,
out.
he's gonna have to find out.
Yeah.
We may be limited more by parking than anything else. I don't know. I mean, if they will work with us, that's great.
Well, how many did we have for the event we had?
The preservation
Yeah.
one? Oh, man, we had,
Was it over 60?
it was, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was almost close to 80, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
think it was
Thank
too.
you.
And-
Yeah, by
and
the time
I-
everybody
Yeah.
was here.
Inside, I know there's a limit. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and the other thing is
it was
just to
outside.
check in case, I mean, I certainly could be wrong, but I think if somebody wants to do a wedding here or something, since most of the venues are gone,
Yes.
I mean, we start to look like the place to be.
And we are going to promote that with
Yes.
wedding
You
bet.
expos and
great.
stuff too. So.
Oh, that
so we're all
that would
supposed to
be-
get married again?
Yep.
Yeah, we could do that.
Holy
You
cow.
can't have him. I got him.
Oh, oh dear. You win some, you lose some.
Or you can do a vow renewal.
Well, renewal, exactly, yeah, we could,
If you
exactly. You know, and if we have weddings here, before, I had volunteered to, do centerpieces and help and stuff like that, and I was told because I wasn't staff, I couldn't do it. Because, I mean, that's something I think we all would enjoy
I
getting
don't know
involved
why
in.
you couldn't, but if there's some reason you can't, I'll look it up. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the same as a volunteer. I mean, you.
I would
If you
think
That's
so.
a
talk
lot,
to the
too.
bride and the bride wanted you to do it, I don't see.
Well,
it.
that would
Yeah, right, right.
but I think it
but I
was-
mean, as far as organization, when we have a wedding, doing some of the planning and things like that
You bet.
because I've, done that, and I thought, well, but it said, well, you aren't on staff.
I
That was
think
way-
it has to be staff here monitoring. There has to be
And it
some
was-
No, I mean,
staff.
there's got to be staff on the property. yes.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
But to.
But to help, I
You
mean,
bet.
to be like almost
Well,
on
you're like a volunteer in that.
Well, it's,
On a
I
committee,
think that's a little
know.
similar to when we have even the songwriters. You guys all volunteered your time to
You bet.
help at
Yeah.
the table.
Exactly,
Or,
that's what I thought.
or the registration.
Yeah.
We'll definitely talk about that because
I think just knowing what the
Unless there's some kind
restrictions
of-
are. And
Yeah.
because we talked about a time restriction too, that
Yeah.
I remember, you can't do anything past 9. So just refreshing and then
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever, because that's when the
looking to
noise
see what
ordinance.
should be changed,
Yes.
if anything.
Yeah.
Well, there's, like an empty lot across the street.
Right.
I don't know, maybe it was liability or insurance or something, I have no idea.
I'll
But
look into
I don't
That was way
remember.
back, was quite a while back.
I think,
Oh look, I mean, if it's up to me right now, I would say if that's what if that's what they want as a wedding venue
Yeah.
and they want us to provide and they don't,
So that, I mean,
they can maybe give you an idea what they're looking for.
right, yeah.
I don't see an issue with that. And I know
Right.
Karina is helping out with a lot of events, so I think she would be definitely open with it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
should be
she's
good.
She's good at that.
Yeah.
so,
She's good.
Yeah,
So.
just the thought.
But yes, it was great. Even when they were doing sound checks outside, I don't think it was too loud. I don't think it was
no,
overly loud.
I know,
We
but-
definitely wouldn't have a rock band out here, but an acoustic set or some kind of
well, we need to look and make sure.
low.
But nobody's living here now.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I was gonna
And
say.
that's a
There's
huge
no
difference.
neighbors.
Did you see where the big complainers, the lot's empty?
What?
Well, they're coming back though, both the
Oh.
son and the daughter.
Okay, sorry.
We,
The
yeah.
big complainers, the lot is empty, and I
I've had
thought, oh,
some conversations with people.
yeah,
so.
okay.
But I mean, we do have an ordinance. We have to apply for a permit for those. We do have to put if it's over a 50-foot radius for amplified music.
Okay, so as long as you know.
So if all that goes through,
Sure.
Then you're okay.
this is our property.
Right.
Okay, but the Mount House things were different in the very beginning
In the big, yeah.
because of neighbors. So To my recollection, we were not supposed to ever have amplified music. Am I
Right.
wrong?
Right.
That's like an ordinance that we put on.
That is a mound house restriction because of
Yes.
the neighborhood. And the 9 o'clock thing was also
How
a
did we
restriction.
get away with like music on the, I mean, not music on the mound,
Yeah.
movies on the mound, that had to be amplified, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, but that's
Was it-
not, that wasn't very loud.
Well,
the
they can tell music
the
to turn
movie.
down too. I mean, they can control their volume on it.
Yeah.
But that's not, but the point was, neighbors objected in the very beginning. A lot of neighbors objected vociferously. And so
Oh.
we said, okay, we will do this, we won't do this, we won't do this. Now is the time to go through those and look
Yes.
for waivers.
Right, sure,
And
yes.
exemptions, and given this, can we do that?
Yeah.
And we don't have those neighbors anymore.
Well, they're
Well,
coming
that's what
back,
they're
they're
coming back.
rebuilding.
That's just what I said.
And that's okay because, but right now they're not here. Right.
And they're
That's
not
the key
saying-
part.
They-
Not to be mean, but,
They do live in the area.
okay. Right, perfect.
Well, and we obviously don't want to say forget the neighbors, but
No.
I mean, we want to be conscious of, you know,
Yeah.
people's properties and
Well,
residents, but
Aim everything that way.
Yeah, and
Right out
Well,
on.
and that's what I was gonna say, you know what?
Time-wise.
The music, if you put it towards water, we live on a lake at home, so if you put the music, the speakers towards that, it will carry across the water. It's not gonna go anywhere around here, so it'll carry. So maybe if we make sure that we always face it that way, it might be a good thing.
And I think
All the
having been in operation for a number of years, a lot of the fears did not materialize. That, you know, that they
Exactly.
were really worried about. Besides which, they're all gone, so.
Yeah.
yeah. And
Exactly.
also, I mean, even if you have a limit on time,
right.
Yeah.
you know, say it quits at 9 or whatever
Yeah,
the ordinances
yeah,
are,
yeah,
that should,
yeah.
I think,
Yeah, I mean,
satisfy.
I get that, and I mean, if you're a resident and you want to have something in your backyard and you want to apply for a permit,
Same thing for them.
same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I also want to be conscious of what the background has been
Yes.
and what our
Yes.
what our ordinance or restrictions are.
Yes,
so.
because we do not want to make anyone mad. I mean, we want to
No.
make sure.
And we don't
move
want to
forward.
break our own
Our own rules, right?
We want
Exactly.
to be good neighbors.
Exactly.
Yes, and we have been.
And it's not, you know, like I said, we're not gonna have a rock band out here. We're not gonna. It'll be
Yeah,
like the
it
songwriter.
could be a quiet one.
Right.
Is it such a thing?
Careful.
Quiet. So yeah, just things I guess yes to talk about. You know, maybe I'll look those up
Yeah, look
and
and
send
see.
those out to us.
Could you send those to us?
And, yeah, and then we can look and see is there anything that could be changed or should be changed? And
Yeah,
I
or
think
should be, or
the
maybe
other
it
thing-
shouldn't for whatever reason.
You bet.
There was
Yeah.
a wonderful big wedding here once, but the tent was right here. Is that okay? I'm trying to think of who was here then.
Well, Allison did one, but she said it was way too much work. They had a big tent.
With tents, I know you just can't stake them to the ground. I know that for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, that maybe was.
Because you
something-
can't put it into the.
It
you know,
was
obviously
beautifully
because of-
done.
Yeah,
My guess is maybe a tent
There's
might be up here.
there's
but-
another place for a tent. They knew that you could stake it down by the kayak launch somewhere
Yeah.
in the flat
Yeah.
low.
Yeah, where that
Which
is.
is Phil.
Right.
And I guess that just needs to be known by staff when you're talking about it with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
right,
Where can they do that?
yeah.
And I think out here on the,
On the
On
slab.
On the
yeah,
slab is a
slab
good
would be
idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a wedding all lined up for us and then the hurricane hit.
Oh,
And I think, and cost-wise too, that's
We are-
another, we
Yeah.
need to kind of look at.
we are less than competitive.
Yes.
We probably should raise that.
We have really good
Exactly.
rates.
Because it is
Yeah.
I think
beautiful.
we should
Yeah.
change that.
So-
And
Yeah.
maybe give a break to island people.
And that's exactly what we do.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
With the fee
That's
schedule,
a-
we try to do that. So it'd be a really, really reasonable
You bet.
price for residents.
Yes.
Or,
Nice.
Yes.
Well, that's the rental too.
That's
Residents and nonprofits, we kind of give that.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
And then to the general public that wants to come down on vacation, not like we gouge them, but we charge them a little more.
Right. No, I think we should definitely look at that.
And that's the way our fee schedule is set up for rental anyway. But we're low on that. This year they didn't want to change a lot of fees because last year's
That's
fee
right.
schedule
They-
never really
Right.
got used.
Right.
So
Oh,
they're
yeah.
gonna keep it the way it is for now.
Good.
That makes sense.
Good.
That-
And actually, they lowered a couple of them with like beach chair rentals that the old council had voted in, and some other. They were talking about weddings on the beach. how do you stop somebody from going on a public?
You
Yeah.
can't.
How do you
Yeah,
stop
it's a public
So,
area.
Yeah.
but I heard, and I don't know, I didn't witness this, I don't know if it's true, but like people would set up a tent out there and base or somebody go like shut them down in the middle of a wedding.
Yeah.
You know what told me? Jackie Lisa told me that actually yesterday. That's what it
Oh,
was.
wedding catcher.
Okay, but a tent on the beach is different.
Yes,
That's
if
kind
they're
of a
just
dead
setting up
giveaway.
But
flowers
people
and
bring
stuff.
like the pop-up tents all the time on the beach.
Right,
Well,
yeah.
now we see,
Exactly.
because I'm there all the time.
An enclosed one? Probably not, but
Yeah.
We never
like
see
that.
tents, we always just see flowers, and then they like maybe have like a, oh, what do they call it? Like
oh, for weddings.
metal bar,
Yeah.
and they throw over some stuff.
Right,
carry it.
right,
Yeah, and they carry it
exactly.
out, and they carry it back, and they're
Yep.
done.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people use those 10 by 10 tents when they go with their family.
Yeah,
Sure.
Oh, they use
bet.
it all the
You aren't gonna
time,
have a wedding in a 10 by 10. I bet they meant
a big
big
tent,
one.
yeah, I think you're right.
But,
So that's kind of,
Okay.
we'll definitely put that on the agenda for fee schedule for next
Okay,
year. And we have a whole
good,
year,
good.
but
excellent.
Well, and Newton could become a
I was just gonna
big
say,
wedding
Newton,
venue
right at the
place.
beach, you bet.
Newton, yes, I can speak to Newton right now. I'm meeting with Chad, our environmental, I don't know if you know Chad, Schutz. We're gonna meet on Friday about Newton and putting a portion of it back so we can do some programming there. Maybe a little walkway with some
Good.
native plants,
Good.
some signage. We can then put parking there, we can do beach walks.
Definitely.
Excellent,
But
excellent.
right now, it is still under state control, basically state control, until May of 2024.
Oh, because of the staging stuff.
Yeah, till May of 2024, so
And when
that's,
Okay.
we get ready to do that, I have already talked to our condo complex, and we're gonna definitely be wanting to donate some money to buy plants, and we'll help do a lot of that stuff, because we are very excited
That's
to have
right.
that back.
yeah, and that, we just haven't
And I'll
done
get a
much.
lot of the neighbors
We
too.
just haven't done much because it's been the staging ground, I mean,
Is there
Okay.
a possibility of a large tiki hut kind of place that could be rented out as a wedding venue? I don't know if that's a good
But
idea.
we used to have a tiki
There
hut.
there was one or two small ones.
No, there was a large one.
Was there a large
Oh,
Yeah,
there was a
large
large
one.
one. Oh,
right
yeah, by
next to
the-
building.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always
by
had
the
bocce.
bocce.
Yep, and we had picnic tables under there, and that was used a lot,
Lot.
you guys. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
And then we
I
had
mean,
the
you
little
can rent out the park
Right, yeah.
if you'd like. I mean, then,
And
then
the
you-
walkway?
No,
No,
like
the
with
actual
Newton,
park.
you could have, I think you could have rented out the park.
I think you can't close it to people.
No, but
Right.
you
But
could.
you can, yes,
Yeah.
but you could rent out the tiki hut or,
Exactly.
I mean,
But
that
then-
ought to be
Because
something.
here we closed it, I mean, we
See, I
closed
think
it here.
that's,
Yeah.
but that was an issue though too, and that's something we probably need to talk about, because when someone did want to rent the park, and I know a person that wanted to do this, so they wanted to rent the park, you can't shut it down to the public.
Public.
So then they were frustrated, well,
Oh.
why would I pay for that when,
I think what we do is you pay for the pavilion, the tiki hut.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
reserved
And the
for
rest-
this.
right.
Yes.
But you're right,
Reserve
you
it.
can't really,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
it's
Yeah.
beach
Yeah.
access.
And that's kind of what we were talking about with Mr. Adderhold too, that even plans for the whole area was to keep it like a park and maybe have a little covered
Yes.
area. And I think that would really be receptive to people.
Yeah, because any building
I think
we're
it
gonna-
would too.
we put up
Right.
there,
The tiki
they just
huts
have to be.
went through I mean, they made it through the hurricane
I know,
and
isn't that amazing? Yeah.
They knew
Like
what they
next
were
door,
doing,
Yes, they
those-
did.
yeah, they did, yep.
And
How
we
about-
have TDC money to replace all of that.
Oh, good.
So we have money to replace
Excellent.
all of that,
The little teepees?
including vegetation at Newton as well.
Oh, okay,
could
wonderful.
there's no concrete base to the house, is there? For the
No.
for the cottage?
They would have,
Didn't-
no, if
it
there
wasn't
was
on.
one, they took it
Yeah.
out, 'cause it's
Yeah.
all sand now.
Okay, how about bathrooms?
There was power going to it, but I don't know, it was just conduit.
I think it was too.
I don't know.
Oh, you mean to the tiki hut?
You know
No,
what?
oh, to the tiki hut? Is that what you're asking?
No, there was concrete under the tiki hut,
Yes.
I think. I just wondered if there was
The
a concrete
foundation?
base, and my guessing is not.
I
That it
don't
was
think there
raised
was
up.
concrete, you guys, under the tiki hut. I thought it was always like that hard mulch stuff.
It could have been.
Yeah, I think it
I don't know.
was.
Oh, I
We were
bet you're
there all the
right. I
time.
bet you're right.
Yeah, I'm almost
Yeah.
positive. And the only part that was concrete was like when you walk up to the bathrooms and the water, the new fountain that we had with the dog and the fountain. And then behind it, there was that screened-in patio, and that had concrete
That
on
had
it.
concrete
Slab.
base.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Is
right,
that
that's-
still there?
No.
If it-
Nothing's there.
I doubt it.
I doubt it. They have so
nothing
much
there.
covered up on that right
They
now.
dug in pretty deep.
Yeah.
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 There's nothing
Yeah,
there.
there's nothing there.
Because it was the
I mean, even
kind of
the
a trash
seawall.
bin for a little bit.
Yeah, which we were all like, okay,
And then it was
kids.
a trash bin again.
And then we were like, okay, kids, let's clean this up.
Yeah. So that's kind of just been the staging area for everything because that's the only spot we.
Sure,
Okay.
Yeah.
Bay Oaks was full of
yeah.
How about
Yeah.
bathroom facilities?
That's also part of our conversation on Friday. I was going to mention that we have, I think it's $40,000 to do air conditioned bathrooms, nice restrooms in there.
Mhm.
And it's gonna be building or is it gonna be on wheels?
It'll be a trailer for now until we can build something permanent.
Those trailers are not bad.
No.
No.
The thing is, if it's a trailer, you can pull it out of town
Yeah.
You
It-
bet.
next time.
Yeah, it'll
Which
have to
is-
be on wheels. Otherwise, I think you probably have to put it up. if
Well,
it's
have you
permanent.
been to Bunch
Oh, well,
Beach?
we don't want that.
Like it is at
At
Glen Hall?
Bunch Beach?
Lynn Hall. and
Yeah.
Bunch.
Yeah.
At Bunch Beach, it's
It should be.
Very
it
high.
should be up.
Well, and for
Or on a
handicapped
trailer.
people, it's
Yeah.
very hard for them because when you guys, when the mound came in, you guys, I had several handicapped people come to our place and go, how am I supposed to get on the beach? And I said, well, first of all, Newton Park is closed. And so we need to think about that before we start thinking about elevating that. I think handicapped people, a lot of people are by themselves. They don't have help.
I'm
Well,
not sure you can get a permit.
let them
to
go
do it.
out to
We have
Bunch
the-
Beach and see it.
Yeah, because,
And they'll see what it is like to have it elevated.
yeah.
I mean, you have to have, I think it's every square foot, you have to have it
Yes.
inclined. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
even when the FEMA did Tidal Basin did a kind of a rendition of what Newton could look like. And it was like the walkway just going up to it started at like the road. It was
Yeah, see,
but
and-
if that's what we have to do, and we want
Yeah.
to put something back, I mean, it's
Right.
like we've talked about, it's a blank slate right now. We
Yeah.
can-
Exactly.
I like the trailer idea because then
Yes, I do
But-
too.
it's
I don't know if they
accessible to
would.
handicapped.
I mean, would you, you'd have to unhook it, water and sewer connections,
Mm-hmm.
electric, and haul it out of town. Now, whether that would be done or not,
Oh, you mean for
I
another
don't know.
storm?
For another storm. That would be
Yeah.
the,
I think the permanent way we're gonna go is building a restroom facility.
yes.
Yeah.
But,
Eventually.
Good.
Probably elevated.
but elevated.
Okay.
You could make a fun thing with signs like we have
Yeah.
on the pier and curbing and with interesting plants underneath that you look down on.
Sure.
And an osprey nest.
But I know in the meantime, we're gonna once we get the okay, and hopefully we can start planning that on Fridays to put restroom trailers back there.
Okay,
I
good.
think that'd be
Well,
a great.
how are you going to start letting people park there again too?
And parking.
Okay, because that's
Yeah.
been a big deal. I mean, we have people park over there all the time right now.
Yeah, as long as, I mean, it'll have to be probably fenced off because it is a construction.
Right.
Right.
But we could put parking in front again.
So
And just
this will
because
be
it
done
isn't gonna
before
be
May
free
or not
anymore.
until the state's done
No,
with it?
I think we can start some of it before May, like
Okay.
soon.
Good.
But then we can start making money there again because it's a big place if we can start charging for the parking.
Yeah, we get a little of that revenue, not a lot.
Oh, okay, so who gets the majority of
The
that?
town gets the revenue. The parking enforcement. We get a portion of it.
I thought
Like
we
how
got
much-
all of Newton and the town got Strand View.
No,
or
because
whatever
I
they-
had to, when I did the TDC report, or no, the Florida grants report,
Right.
I had to get from
Yeah.
base the percentage that we made on
Hmm.
Newton.
On parking,
Yeah, because they took some out for administrative and,
okay.
policing it.
Oh, for TDC, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
for-
yes, okay.
Oh, for the Florida grants one.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking of for the one the Friends got and the
No,
Friends
the
don't
market-
get
yeah.
any of
Different.
that
Jeff, is there
parking.
any way we could change that a little bit, just so we get a little bit of that money back?
No,
I doubt it.
Probably not.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
how
because
that-
the town really
Because
does.
they're doing
bear-
all the enforcement and,
The town is really, they're doing all the,
And
yeah.
they do change the trash and they do all that.
yeah, I mean,
So
that would be like saying Public Works gets all of Old San Carlos parking fees, so,
Right. Okay,
It'd be nice.
that
but
makes sense.
yeah.
Is
It,
there-
I mean, and if you think about it, it really goes into one big
It does.
Right.
thing anyway, but, so hopefully, yeah, some good news on Newton, getting some back there and some programming back is what we'd love to have.
Wonderful.
Newton.
I finally got some kind of confirmation with the roofing company, not a date yet, but, at least we had some
Great.
some talks, and I sent over our agreement, or they did some site agreement that we have to sign and everything, so that we just did last week, so hopefully they're gonna get through the roof here soon. That was,
And I will tell you, a company that we utilized was Kelly Roofing out of Naples, and they were amazing.
yeah.
They did a fantastic job, and they did it very quickly, and they stayed under budget because we were very strict about how much you could do and cannot do, and.
And this one was a little, we opened it up for any company to come in, you had to do a pre-bid meeting. And Crowther was the only one that
Oh, I'm
obviously
sorry.
showed up.
I wish I would.
I'll vote for Crowther.
Okay,
They
well,
were
good,
wonderful.
yeah. as
And
long as you
they've done a lot of our properties.
yes, yes.
Not to say
Okay.
if there would have been more, we wouldn't have gone with another one, but the other thing with that is when we had different staff here at that time that wrote an RFP, and it should have been some other kind of contract, so it almost went void.
Oh,
And then we had to rewrite it,
Yes.
send it off, and you know that process
Yeah,
just
yeah,
takes
yeah.
a lot of time. So I think with everything, everyone's kind of learning in the disaster crisis management that things aren't always what they were before.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Good to know.
And then we want to ramp up. I spoke with, actually, I was emailing Ellen last night. We're going to ramp up our social media a little bit more. I know it's
Okay.
kind of gone a little bit down lately.
Yeah.
I know I've put a lot on Adam and Karina, but we do have one more staff now, which is great. So we have an education coordinator who's been awesome. Ashley.
Ashley.
Yep.
And
Okay.
if you need help with that, I own a full-blown agency, and
Okay.
I have a full-blown
Yeah,
staff.
and Adam normally does a great job, and
Yeah.
I think he's just got a lot going on right now. He was on vacation for a little bit, and
Do we let him go? Really?
he went to Chicago. He's going to California. Then he's
Look at
going
that.
somewhere else. Yeah, I don't think we could take vacations, but
Underground Museum, the structural
Yeah.
engineer, did he come?
came out. Yep, we're all set to go. We can start our AV system. Adam's been
good.
researching
Oh,
the
wonderful.
AV system for the underground. They're going to be pricey.
Oh,
Did we get the
The lights have been
the laser lights?
on the bottom, the LEDs.
Oh, no,
LED?
no, you know the rope lights?
Yeah, we're gonna do them laser.
Oh, that's gonna be so cool.
Yeah.
It-
Well, and for a couple of reasons. One, it's gonna look cool.
Yes.
Sometimes looking cool doesn't always
is it official?
convince the financial people. But after the hurricane, we had that rope light that came down, and we had to actually
Right.
cut the rope light into because it was buried.
Yeah.
And we can't just pull the rope light out.
No,
obviously.
no.
Right.
So I
also-
think it kind of hindered, or not hindered, it led to the collapse a little bit more than it should have.
It looks like electric lights strung across, and it didn't fit because they didn't have lights back then. I mean, it
They
was modern. You could see the cords coming down. That was an
The
anachronism.
fishing line or whatever they
Right.
use.
Yeah, the
Right.
fishing line. But the other thing is it's saved.
Yeah.
Over the years, it didn't mirror, it wasn't
was
right.
supposed to
And I
be.
think the lasers could be more easily corrected.
Oh, I would
By
they
the-
just go, just pan
Or just
down,
go.
I think, or
Cool.
something. I don't know how
I
they'll
mean,
do it, but-
it's marking layers.
Yeah,
No, so that will be very good.
yeah. And I'm guessing, I mean, I was not here previous to that, but trying to maintain that would be a mess. You have to
Oh.
go in there every time and disturb.
Well, you couldn't,
Right.
only an archaeologist could do it.
Correct.
So, there you go.
Yeah.
So are we able to go down then and give tours?
Not now.
Not
I
yet. We
mean,
want to
we
get the
still
system
haven't-
ready to go.
It's better if
it's
it's
still-
all there.
Yeah, we talked about that. Should we open it up or shouldn't we?
Yeah.
We just want to maybe have a grand opening, a re-grand opening, and then a big thing.
And a big party?
And a big, yeah,
A
big,
big
big.
party. Yeah, we have to have parties.
It's like, I think we're doing with every property. We did it for Bayside, Times Square.
Yep.
We did it, we're gonna do it for the ballpark, so.
How's the ballpark
Is-
coming? I know it's not our thing, but how is that all coming
Little
along?
League is, we're gonna have the re-grand opening next Wednesday.
Oh, wow, I didn't know
Little
that.
League is
Did you
actually
know
starting,
that?
Little League, Fort Myers Beach Little League is starting tonight.
Oh, yay! That is so, I love
That's
that.
great.
Nice
So-
job, you guys.
They
That's
didn't get as
very
many kids as they were hoping. I got a phone call on Saturday, we were at hockey
Oh,
practice.
that's great.
My son's 8, and they're like, hey, Camden wanna come play? And we were already planning on it, but you got any friends that wanna come down? So I think there'll be probably
Fantastic.
9 or 10.
It'll grow.
All right.
Oh, yeah,
Of course
it'll grow.
will.
That's
And it looks
fantastic.
great down there, so anyway.
Yeah. Is there a kind of a planned opening on the underground? Not
We're
really.
getting quotes right now. There isn't a lot of companies that do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Specific. And I don't know the background on the other company we had. They were the ADM. Do you remember when that first went in?
Boy, that was a long time
Long time
ago.
ago.
Talking to Adam, it sounded like they were, it was almost like taking 2 steps back with the technology, where we could have went a little forward. I don't know that.
Oh, when we replaced it right before the hurricane, you mean?
Was it right before?
Well, I know they had they had the engineering people came
Oh, okay, came in.
and they were there the week before Ian.
Oh, okay.
And they did all the
Oh,
stuff they
wow.
needed to do, maybe it was 2
And
weeks
upgrade it,
before.
maybe?
And then Ian happened,
Okay.
and it all has to be done again, kind of.
Yeah.
And with the engineering more, it was the archaeology team that came in with the Seminoles, Miccosukee people.
Yeah.
Who were.
It was
Right.
ADM, I think
It
was the
right
company.
before the hurricane.
Yeah.
I don't know the company, we were banned, rightly so.
Yeah, when they're in there, no one's supposed to be.
Exactly, exactly.
So,
Okay.
Yeah,
where was I going with that? Yeah, and Adam, with his museum background, he's got some ideas
Oh, good.
for that too. And he's got all the knowledge of what can go there, what can't go there.
Okay.
His
Yeah.
museum standards are.
Yeah. It's always a big
Standards.
question when people come in for tours.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big, that's what they,
so
so,
an opening celebration, I'm gonna guess it is not gonna be before January.
I'm guessing
And maybe
too.
after that.
Probably.
It'd be
I
great
don't
for
know.
the
He's been.
Right,
He was at something today. He had to go do a lecture. So.
Yeah. Is that something that the Friends should be asked to think about and plan? Can we charge money and have is it something that we can do, or do we open it up to everybody?
Yeah, I think
from
we
the
would
town?
open it up to anybody that wants to come.
Get people
I think
in.
that
It's a
that's
public
fine.
facility,
Yeah.
so.
And what about asking for donations? Because all the snowbirds will be here then, and then we can
Well,
get.
the friends could do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
should we
yeah.
do that? That
I
would
mean,
be
you could
great.
have definitely
And have a
friends
table.
could have a part of it.
Yeah,
and
and then we raise more money for
Yeah,
it.
like the party for preservation, we went keep the Mount House green.
yeah.
Oh, that was a great idea. There you go.
I'm not opposed to any of that.
Yeah, let's definitely do that.
Okay,
But
that
does
makes
that?
more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
and we can. Let me kind of backtrack on that. I mean, the friends can definitely put on an event, but it would have to be open to the public.
Right.
I like the idea of opening to the public
I do too.
better, and
The more
donations
people
are a
we
good
can-
idea.
I mean, it's nice for those of you that have been so involved, and it's so nice. Maybe we can give you a sneak peek preview. I mean, before we open it up and give you guys a
That'd
first
be
look
you
at it.
That's
I'm new.
Oh, you're now official though, Terry, so it's.
Okay, thanks.
But I mean, it's just fair. I mean, you guys should be able to see it before anybody else. Maybe when we're just about ready to attach that last one before we open to the public, you can. But we have lights down there. The LEDs
Okay.
are great. They change colors, which is cool too.
Oh, that's very cool.
But yeah, it's good. It's clean down there.
What, the people that came the week before Ian and made all the suggestions, they were making suggestions about what to do with that ground level thing, the actual excavations, and they had all been eroded so badly, I'm sure it's even worse now.
It's filled in pretty much. The what they dug is filled
I
in.
would think so. What were we never heard the recommendations, or at least I never did. And I wonder what they were talking about doing. At some point, Allison had said something about maybe a sort of a canvas cloth painted to make it look, or one of those
Oh, that's
photographic
cool.
things over the top and stretch. And I could be completely off base about that, but something over the top that looked like what that dig
What it
was.
was, yeah.
If you looked at the video, and I would tell people when I was in there, this is how it's supposed to look, and this is how it looks now, because it gets eroded every time there's a high tide. And that was before Ian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes up from the ground. And
Yeah.
In fact, I said, and sometimes you can look down and see water, and I looked down, I went, there's water
Right
I
right
can
there.
look. I can look, and that obviously. I mean, just in all honesty, before whatever happened before the hurricane, I don't really. I'd have to go look
You
at
have
it.
to go,
I have some
almost go
knowledge of
back
what
to
was going
this
on,
one, yeah.
but and then after the hurricane, it was recovery mode.
Oh,
We
okay.
got, and then we got the Mound House open fairly quick.
Yeah.
because
Yeah, you
of the
did. You did a
damage.
great job.
And then, okay, so we got operations going here, and then we have all these other structures to deal with, so I'll have to look into it.
No, but I think that that's fine. And
Adam may know, he's more so.
Adam was here when that happened, and he may know. Allison, I'm sure,
Okay.
can be contacted once you've looked up and talked to Adam. I don't remember, we just never heard about it because it was
happens
not on the
quick.
priority
Right.
list anymore.
Right,
Right, it
exactly.
happened to-
Drop to the bottom.
Back to base.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's,
Oh, but that's
Is that your
that's
report?
great to
Very
think about
good.
that coming back.
Excellent.
Um,
Adam Hopper.
And I think, are they giving vouchers to people who come and the underground's not open? We decided against that, didn't we?
yeah, we're not.
Yeah, okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
they've been told that it's not part of the tour.
The tour.
And
Yeah.
they can, and please come
I
back.
think at
Please come
first we
back.
were giving them like a
Yeah, we did.
voucher to come back, but it's just hard to
No,
track.
and they'll lose it, so it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah,
Which we'll have
exactly.
to honor. So, anything else, Jeff? Excellent
No,
Do we have
report.
student
Yeah.
programs and group, oh no, activities?
Yes, activities. We've had, obviously meetings have been happening here.
Mm-hmm.
FGCU tours, Adam and Ashley have been giving those a couple times a week. It's been great.
Good.
nice.
She's
Oh, that's
so
nice.
good. I took a picture of her the other day giving a tour. She's just so outgoing, and she's got kayaking experience and education
wow,
experience
wonderful.
and biology experience.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do beach walk. She's got all of that.
Oh,
I
great.
love that.
And she's
Great.
great. And if you haven't met her, she came from the Wonder Gardens, so she's.
Can we put them on our
Oh,
social
nice.
media page too, to just kind of introduce them and people get to know them?
Yeah, if they haven't already. I thought she was already on there. No.
I hadn't seen
I'll ask
it,
Ann.
but
I don't do that, so.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'll ask.
yeah. And then we can promote that and even more. And
Maybe
what
that was
about-
the town that did it.
Okay, and I haven't been
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah.
With that little magazine that comes out that we help support,
Mm-hmm.
is that still out? That would be something
I'm
to
sorry,
put her on the
guys.
cover of, or something. You
The
know, the little Florida Weekly, what was
Living
it?
magazine.
Just
No, the
something
Florida Weekly that,
That, what was?
we had ads
We have
in
an ad in
there.
there.
Yeah, it was an ad.
The Florida Week or the was it Living
the-
magazine is
Yeah.
one we've had a lot of articles in. They're really big supporters of us
Yeah.
and the town
Yes.
properties. So I just did one for they wanted to know about Bay Oaks. So did another article with them. But we had one in there about Mound House. And
Okay, good.
And and do we send out press releases to all the news media?
Hello, Barbara.
Hey.
Here's our chairman. Come sit. You want to make public
I'm
comment?
Carrie.
You are finally, I have
I'm
finally
finally real.
to meet you. How are you?
We sent you a place.
Yeah, we sent you a place.
And
Thank
are
you.
you here for public comment?
I'm sorry?
Are you here for public comment?
No, I'm just here to meet Carrie.
We're to item 7.
Yes, we are to item 7. Would you like to come
Did
up?
you see that it started at 2?
Don't we start at 3?
No.
Well,
Two.
it was 2
No,
this time.
Friendsby. What, was it 2?
Yeah, 2. That's why I said, are you here for
We've
public?
had just conversation waiting for you.
Right. Yeah.
So the meeting's
here-
almost over?
No,
Yeah, no.
No,
we just
we
went
haven't
there
done any of
for-
the important stuff except for
You
the
mean you
election.
started at 2
Yeah.
and nothing important happened?
We've already had the election.
Well, we voted you in again.
You're voted in again.
So,
Here I thought I walked into a friends meeting.
that's why I said, are you here for public comment?
Yeah, we've already covered everything.
Am I was totally
I
wrong to
was so
see
glad
at
to see
2
too,
o'clock?
because I have to leave early.
So it's so we're half the
We're
people.
right to
To see,
this.
and then, yeah, the minutes said 3:10, so.
Yep,
Yep.
Minutes have been
Minutes have been
approved.
approved.
My bad, my apologies to
No
all of
problem.
you.
that's okay.
Is there
Half the staff got
other
it.
agenda that?
Yeah.
We've had a good.
So we're good.
Yeah.
Okay,
You're
well,
fine.
Yeah.
Probably the one that's never been here was probably on time.
Yes, I was.
She was the first one, so we've been.
I just
talking
flew in
like
for this
and
meeting and I'm flying out
just
afterwards.
flying out.
And we have elected you as our chairman
Yes, you're
again.
chairman again, and I'm.
Yes,
I'm-
and are you okay with that?
I'm vice.
It was unanimous.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't tell her.
Well,
And as Becky
celebration.
said, I said, oh, I hope she doesn't decline. And Becky said,
Yeah.
she can't now. We voted her in.
You're done.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was going to preface the nomination by saying, if anybody wants to be chair,
No, I've heard that
speak
before.
now.
Yeah, we love you being chair.
Thank you.
I already got the
And
motion
Sherry
in.
is your,
Yeah, I did such a good job, huh?
So you're the vice chair too.
I just got back, I go ahead and shut my phone off.
Oh my
So,
God.
but we are right down to.
I just gave a brief update
items.
of what's going on here, but we've talked about that before. but
Yeah.
we're not-
Yeah,
We just ran through all that.
right.
Okay, so you
share,
okay,
share all of our phone numbers and emails with each other, because I don't have everyone.
Yeah, but the only thing is, with the sunshine law, we aren't supposed to talk about anything outside of this.
Oh, well, we don't have to talk about that yet, no, just. all
can
of
you
us
send
know names.
everybody names?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have the spreadsheet, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great, just so that we can just all keep in touch, coming back to the island and stuff like that.
Item 7, we're like
okay, I will
renaming
discuss.
student
And
track.
make sure.
So, have you
So-
given your report, Jeff?
Yes.
Yes,
You have.
yeah.
Can we go-
So-
Yes.
Would it be possible to go back to our conversation about, or do you want to put that on the
I
next
didn't-
agenda
do you
about
have the
restrictions?
agenda? I don't
Oh,
see
yeah.
the
No,
agenda.
we don't
You
feel
don't
free.
have-
Wait,
Here's
just
my
let Barbara,
That's
maybe
yours.
she has some more
That's,
insight.
I have
Yes.
There's one on here.
Is
Oh,
there one?
agenda?
Here's
Yeah,
another
you
one.
got mine.
Because this is
Yeah,
different than the
here's
one that
another
was
one.
on the.
So
you have
Barbara,
the
we have a
minutes?
question for you, but you might know. Go ahead.
We were just talking about limits and restrictions. We were talking about all the events that we've been having, or that we want to have here. And the question was brought up, do we have number restrictions, like how many people we can have on the grounds? Or, I know there's restrictions in the building, of course.
I think that's up to the town. I think in terms of occupancy, I know there's an occupancy limit for the building itself,
Yeah.
but actually the property, that's a good question to ask.
Becky was
See,
thinking maybe there was some
Do you remember
restrictions.
early on, talking about events here, and I thought, no amplified music, there was a 9 o'clock stop time, and those sorts of things that the neighbors were really concerned about in the very beginning.
Very beginning.
And I don't think that that has been changed. I don't know that Jeff has ever seen those, which makes it
Goes
hard.
way back when.
And I don't even remember, I do know, we know about the fire department restrictions on the building, but
Right.
I can't remember if there was a limit on the number of people that would be allowed to do like a wedding or a thing or something.
Exactly, and I think, we had that big event with the tent, if you remember. And I believe we were talking about 200 people that we were
Oh, wow.
anticipating for that event. So it's not like it's 100.
Right.
But I don't believe there was ever a point, whether it was organized by the town or whether it was organized by an individual, that would go over 200
Yeah, see,
people.
that's what, it's
Yeah.
written down, the restrictions are written down on the, it's an agreement with the Mound House, specifically for the Mound House.
Okay, I'll look
Yeah,
at that.
yeah.
So-
And then, because we obviously know the restrictions of, we can't spike anything
Oh,
in
and
the
here's
ground.
Here comes Jim.
Those
He's
kind of
also an
Jim
hour
thought it
late.
was- See,
Yeah.
He was the same way.
I only noticed because I have to leave early and I
Yeah.
said, 2 o'clock.
Hi, Jim.
Come on, Jim.
Jim, I just came into, the meeting apparently started at 2
It
o'clock.
was at 2.
It was
I did not know that either,
Two.
seriously.
It was 2 today.
I was here earlier today at,
2 o'clock.
oh my gosh, I was here earlier at 9 o'clock for an Acreage Advisory Committee, and it's like, today.
Same,
2
same.
o'clock.
I'm very
So
sorry.
I'm doing a lot of catch up myself, so,
We didn't really start till like
We did,
2:20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
It was
just
2:10. It was
2:10 we
2:10.
started.
and we just did business
I
at
apologize.
2 minutes, we did those. That's easy.
Yeah,
and you made the correction about the minutes with regard
Yes.
to.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
yep,
I thought I was here just in time.
You are.
You are. You are.
Same.
For the important stuff, yes, you are.
Yes,
We were just
They were
talking
all
about
done.
restrictions and if there was Mound House specific restrictions. I know, because I know there's restrictions for the town, like you have to get a
Right,
permit
right,
for the
yeah.
amplified music, but is there a Mound House restriction?
No,
on
and
that?
I think we defer to the town.
See, and
in
I
that
think it's
regard.
more, I remembered no amplified music. I could
Yes.
really be wrong, I've been wrong about a lot of things in my life, but
I think that
I
was
think you're
back
correct.
when though, wasn't
it was back
It
when,
was
but I
quite-
don't know
yeah.
that it has ever
Ever
been
been changed?
changed.
And that was
Yeah, and that was
oh, look, I mean, we're all speculating.
That's just, yeah.
Nor has it ever been questioned.
Right, so let's, yeah, now would be the time.
But if we wanna have a band in the middle of the day, I mean, we're not talking about till midnight.
Right, I think up until 9, it really doesn't seem to be an issue.
And make
I
sure the
think-
sound's within a certain level.
Then 9 o'clock, they ought to
I
go to
think the
bed
issue
anyway.
here was more about Mr. Abrams really
Exactly.
having issues.
And they're
that's-
rebuilding, and they're equally as adamant about no mound house as the parents were.
Oh, the children are building? Oh, my goodness.
But as long as we have, you're right, the town's ordinances.
We defer to the town when there
Right.
isn't
Yes,
Yeah, we
something.
wouldn't go above and beyond that, like I
Oh,
said
gosh,
before.
no.
We wouldn't have a rock band here,
No.
but
No,
Yeah,
no.
but Kiss is
maybe.
available.
And you're gonna, yeah, and you're gonna send us what you find,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna look and see if maybe
Wisconsin when I
changes
was there.
could and should be made.
Well, and actually
No
that,
wonder you didn't come back until now.
that actually does become a strategic plan conversation. And I do want
Exactly.
to put that on the agenda for next month to make sure that you as staff have a draft of the strategic plan so that we can then go forward and kind of fine tune it and actually have it as our operating short and long-term goals going
Yes.
forward. Because I've gone through the previous minutes from the last year and I see a lot of things that are, still in the planning stage, which let's give everyone a break. We just went through a horrible hurricane. The past year has been awful for all of us. So, but now I do think it's time to
I think it is
become
too.
Yeah, I agree.
more serious
agree.
about
Exactly.
moving forward, because obviously we're going into season and we want to make sure that we're running this institution properly and professionally. So let's put that on the agenda item for
Strategic plan.
staff, right?
Good.
I think the other thing that maybe should be reiterated also, Barbara, are that what's happening at Newton,
Yeah, you need to give her an update on that.
bathrooms.
Oh, yeah.
Bathrooms.
I'm meeting on Friday with Chad Schutz about putting some kind of educational component back at Newton sooner than May 2024. Because right now the state obviously has it, we've talked about that enough. But there's possibilities and I think realistic opportunities that we can do. We can use a part of that of Newton to put back vegetation, parking, restrooms.
Make it start looking nice.
And then we can incorporate beach walks to
Good.
that and everything. So.
Now, I think the last time we met, you mentioned that there was a plan that was going to be developed. I mean, we're talking about a site plan. So where is the parking lot going to go? Where are the restrooms
The parking lot will
going to
go where it was.
Okay, but isn't there supposed to be additional parking that was established?
Well, there's side parking and then front parking, but the side was the public access.
That was the
That's
public
not
access
our
part.
purview.
So that
Yeah.
was beach
Yeah.
access, but it'll go back to way right in front there.
Okay, because now that we've got a clean slate, I'm kind of wondering if, because I think you mentioned there will be some landscaping coming in, why would there not now be an opportunity to reinvestigate the way the layout was based on the fact that the historic home was there?
Right.
If in fact we're going to put restrooms in, we're going to put botanical garden in, we're going to put the parking lot in, why would that not be part of a plan that at a landscape like Sachs, who was done, David Sachs?
Exactly.
David Sachs, if you can get him to come in and maybe,
Plan
do
that
that
out.
plan, so
Yeah.
that when you get the TDC funding for the restrooms, we'll know where it goes in advance, rather than just here. or
Yeah,
there,
and
or
we
there.
may not.
That's a great idea.
We're not going to have access to the whole Newton until June of 2024.
Right, yeah.
So we've got time, but
So, right.
site
We have
plan-
Yeah, site plans will be.
Yeah, site plans would be
So,
great.
under the agreement with the TDC, or I don't know what, do we owe anybody any restrictions on that?
Oh, yeah,
I'm
the
sorry,
Florida
say that again.
Communities
Florida
Trust.
Communities
But
Trust.
not necessarily in terms of.
We have to. I
service.
talked to the woman at Florida Community Trust, and we just have to do our basically we have to provide programming there and educational. So the signs. So if we just did, and I talked about her through this whole scenario, like we don't have it till June of 2024. Is there some kind of condensed? She goes, yeah. There's no limit on how much educational. So if you just label the trees or the native plants that are there, and then do your beach walks or some kind of educational programming out of there, that'll suffice. But there's a lot of places that are doing nothing right now because they're in the same boat as us.
Right.
That won't do anything until they can actually open, so they were really happy that we were gonna start a little early.
Oh, good.
Good,
Good.
okay.
But,
Yeah.
but you sounded like they would be willing to give us some grace in terms of how extensive the programming is until we're ready, right?
I mean, it doesn't specify how extensive it is. We have to do 24.
But given Ian, they may give us a little grace on
They
it.
could, yeah.
But if we did beach walks and we've got Ashley and
Yeah, we could do
You could
2
go
beach
the other
walks a
way.
week, and, yeah.
I think the challenge is that there's a desire for many to have those temporary restrooms going as soon as possible.
yes, yes, yes.
It's
That's what we're talking
the
about.
halfway, you already talked, I'm sorry, yeah, because it's the halfway point. So the sooner we can get, there's no other public restrooms.
Yeah, there's
So
not.
so the folks who live in that area, they have other people visiting them in strange places in inappropriate ways. And so I think having that restroom there as soon as we can.
Well, he talked about a trailer
Yep.
first.
Yeah.
And then you build the.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah, we've
Whatever.
had people.
So, yeah, the-
go to
Can
the
we
room on our
double the
property
parking?
Several
Yeah.
times.
Like, that will be at Lynn Hall?
Yes.
Well, I'll know more on Friday
Those
when
look
Chad kind
Yeah,
of gives
those
me
are
the
nice. Air
parameters of
conditioned
what
too,
we
yeah.
can use
They're
out of
nice.
the property. Because really, they were kind of doing us a favor by letting us use some of the property.
Right.
It's kind of hard to say that
No,
because it's our
sure.
property, but we have that
Yeah,
agreement.
No, but the thing is, site plan, is there a way
Oh,
to
to do that?
increase the parking at some point? It's not gonna happen for this season, it's
Yeah.
just not
I
gonna,
see
we
what
don't
you're
own
saying,
it.
going forward. yeah.
But going forward, site plan
Yeah, I
says
mean-
Barbara, and
And if I miss this, I apologize, but on the site plan too, as we look at vegetation, to me, it's a tremendous opportunity to preserve that view corridor. Because the
Yes,
way
sure,
it
yes.
was, there
Exactly.
wasn't much of a view corridor to the
That's
ocean.
exactly
And since you
right.
have that elevated little seawall there,
Yep.
you really have potential for a great view corridor. Still have
You
neat
bet.
vegetation, but just something when people drive by, they can remember that they're on an island and
Yes.
not on Hickory with these canyons
Yes.
of tall homes. and-
Exactly.
and can we not put the permanent bathroom in the middle?
That's a great
And
point.
off to one side, so
Once.
you really have park here and bathroom
I think
here.
that's what we should do.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
bet.
But that's, yeah, we can make the site like that,
I
yeah.
agree 100%.
Yeah. And then it's still gonna stay dog friendly, because I do know a lot of people that take their dogs there. I mean, we've been there for 6 years now, and that's a
Yeah,
big deal to them.
Yeah, here's
Or-
dog
oh my
friendly,
gosh,
and yeah,
been here 7 years, 8
I have a dog, so
Me
obviously
too.
yes.
Yeah. Just like I'm in. I do too, so I'm
And
in.
it's really hard to use a better term, police that.
Yeah.
People will walk through. I mean, if people are starting to clean up their,
If it was in the
Mass.
CWA, it'd be one thing, it's not.
Oh,
so-
you know what? People have done a great job there. We go over there all the time, and people clean up their messes all
I think
the
in
time.
general, even here when they're walking their dogs and they're running around, I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's good. But yeah, very preliminary. It's going to be very limited at
So we
Newton
just did-
right now when we open it
Here
back
we
up.
just did,
But we are working.
So
And Jason Freeman, our public works, is working on getting power there.
Okay. So-
Running additional lines for the
Could we-
restroom trailers. We have
Could
to
we
get-
bury those? Because that makes it.
They're
I
going to
mean-
be temporary, so probably.
Okay, but in the future, let's think about burying our lines, you guys, because this is a beautiful area for us to really keep beautiful.
And in the future, with the new street lighting, all those lines will be buried now.
Oh, thank
When the
heavens.
installation comes in the next few
Good.
months.
Yeah.
So that will change the whole paradigm.
Oh, it does.
And it's
I
so
mean,
much easier for them to do now with the cord, the boring through and not trenching.
But
Yes.
that being said, FP&L will still have their power lines because they
Right.
don't want to bury them because it makes repair
Yeah, yeah,
challenging.
Well, it's
Very
because Uncle
hard.
Joe is
Yeah.
partners with them, but that's irrelevant.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking at Newton. Yeah, we will get a better site plan when we get there. We don't
Good.
even know about a structure. If we want to do one, we don't want to do one. I don't think it's been really talked about too much lately, but
And since it all, is there a way to incorporate the Strand View access as well into the site plan? And to make it seem more like one big thing rather than two things? I mean, we're starting from scratch here.
that's what I was
that
going
would
to say.
look really
It is
nice.
kind of a clean slate.
That would be a
That's
great
our
idea.
beach access.
That's your back, because it's just
Okay,
a blacktop there, and then they have parking over here, but then the park really looked pretty, but then here is this like, just street
So
there.
put this parking on the far side, so you've got this one big empty area with the bathrooms here and the
That's a great
parking
idea.
over there.
Or put the bathroom next to the parking so you have your
Yeah.
blend Michelle in one spot.
That's
and
a
the
great
rest of the
idea.
back,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Even
a great
better.
idea. That's even
You
better.
bet.
Sorry to call
Yeah.
it blemish.
No, I like it.
No, that's
But
great.
it's also
We
going
like
to be high. You can park cars under that bathroom.
That's true.
Yeah, no,
bet.
that's a great
It
idea.
has to be high.
Actually,
We like
that's
it.
terrific. That's a great idea. I mean, if we're reimagining, and that beach access belongs to the town of Fort
Yep.
Myers
You
Beach, why
bet it
don't
does.
you
Right.
design it?
It's a
Exactly.
clean slate.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
That'd be wonderful.
Let's just take it all
So-
over.
It's ours.
It's not that we're greedy.
But no, but the thing is,
greedy.
this is a body that could be part of the planning.
Yeah.
Should be.
I mean,
Could,
and it
should
still
be.
has to go to the town council, but
No, but
With the recommendation of,
this is important.
Okay.
Yeah, this should
Or
be,
something.
council would
You
want
bet.
you to all, they would want everyone's recommendation here.
Sure.
So I
Sounds
think
good.
that also addresses the issue of renaming. I think
Yes,
when we're
please.
talking about renaming, it
It's on
seems
our
to me
agenda.
that might even now be a little premature. Not that it isn't in the back of our minds, and I think do we want to go around the table?
We do.
Come up with ideas, absolutely, today. But it doesn't have to be decided until such time
Yep.
as we rededicate that
right.
park and
Right.
call it the
Right.
renamed then.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
yes, what I'd like to have is feedback from all of you with regard to the name, renaming. And then, yes, I'd like for you maybe next, or upcoming from this point forward in terms of what month, you can come up with a conversation you've had with our landscaper to determine, you know, what kind of a master plan we can have. And if that could include beach access, that's more of a town staff issue in terms of what we can and cannot do, but get a status report back to us, maybe again for the next agenda item, if you can, if not the following. But again, all of that comes together with the brainstorming, not only from CELCAB, but also from staff and council.
Yeah, that's great.
Just to know that that's all something that we're eager to investigate, explore, and determine. For the record, I want to confirm that Jim Adderholt has come into our meeting for our scrivener. So you are officially here.
and Barbara Hill.
Barbara Hill, yes.
You are here.
It's always good to know.
just in time for the important.
It's always,
Exactly.
Okay, and forgive us for our being late, but if you don't mind, could you go back to your director's report? And again, there was some confusion about some planning. Who does your press releases, Jeff, for the lectures and the events?
Mainly Adam and Karina.
And so,
And then it gets linked up with the town's website.
okay, you know how I found out about the lecture yesterday? From the town's website.
It's also on our website, I mean, but.
I know,
Yeah.
but you would think as CELCAB members, and
Yeah,
not only that, but I got a letter from the Mound House when I joined, and it says that I was going to get advanced emails about whatever was happening at the Mound House in advance. So the members should at least know in advance of what the town gives out publicly as to what is happening or not happening.
There's a
Could we not
monthly
put it on our-
newsletter.
I did not get it.
I haven't gotten anything.
And I would have loved to have gone to last night's lecture, but they're just,
yeah, and there's,
schedule conflict. What happened before, and I think this is the missing link, because I went back to the previous minutes. Jenny and Gary Mooney worked on press releases and distributed all of those press releases to all the publications. So that was in print in any one of the weekly papers. So I don't think Gary Mooney is doing that.
Gary Mooney's working with, not Florida Weekly, he's working with Living Magazine right now. I don't know.
Thought that,
But he used to do it pro bono.
I thought that money came from the Friends, which got the grant from TDC. In the beginning, we could do printed matter, and now we can't. So
No,
none of
actually,
that
has
no,
to be
this happened
digital.
way after our
Jenny puts out, Jenny Dexter, our PIO, puts out press releases. so they go to all the press. Now, we need
Who
to.
does?
Jenny Dexter.
Uh-huh,
So
okay.
we just have to include that in like a monthly press release for our
Yeah, okay.
CELCAB.
And I think also, because I'd like to be able to share this with others in the community
Yeah, me
in
too.
Greater Lee County, to say, if I have an email saying, you know, this lecture at this time, or even in our monthly reports from the director, it says this specific date, this particular topic, and know well in advance of what we've got planning, so that we know, and then we can share it with others before the town does. I think
No,
that's
we have-
probably one of our responsibilities, to be advocates.
I agree. And Barbara, I kind of brought this up earlier because I felt like our social media pages are not what they should be. And nothing against anyone. I mean, we're all just getting back to work and doing all this crazy stuff here. So, my question would be, like, could all that be posted on there too? And then we could like share it with our friends on their pages.
Yeah, and I know I think recently I mentioned that I think I just need to we have a conversation with Adam
Yeah,
it
because-
came up yesterday about not having as much stuff on our social media, but for a while he was doing such a good job.
Yeah, and it was even on television, which
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought was wonderful.
So
we
those will
just-
be with the press releases. That everyone will get them.
Just as you're talking to Adam, I saw a copy from
Yeah, last
Nathan from
night.
the Observer, didn't get the releases. Nathan is kind of living in the 20th century, so you almost have to email him directly the release. He doesn't look at the notices, the blast that Jenny sends out, so he needs a little extra hand-holding, but it's worth it, because he has a pretty good audience with the Observer, so we want to make sure. But just Adam needs to know that Nathan's going to need a little extra love, just getting that release in his hands, because otherwise, you know, he's a little bit of a Luddite, and he's kind of just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I know the conversation I had a little bit with Andy was we send out the press release to everyone. They have all opportunity to get it.
But Nathan,
I get what you're saying. I know what you're
He
saying.
needs a little
Yeah,
extra
okay.
TLC.
And I would
He's
have no
not been getting it, yeah.
problem, if she sends me the press release, I'll be happy to send it to him. I'll be more than happy to take care of that. My office can take care of that.
Wonderful.
And
Good.
I
We do
think,
it all
yeah.
the time. So you
Yeah,
just tell
we
me
can.
what I need to do and we'll do it.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to know, like, say it's September now, or, well, this says September 20th, director's report.
That was the other, yeah.
There wasn't a meeting in
There
September.
wasn't a meeting in,
There wasn't a
We didn't have a.
Right, okay.
not much
so
has
then
changed
we
up
have-
there, so
So
I
do we have,
changed mine to
okay,
October.
so we don't have any updates from this September 20th
it's all pretty
one?
much the same.
Okay, but in the director's report, it'd be nice to know specifically
Yeah.
within the month, what's happening here.
Yeah, and I shouldn't assume anything. I just assumed it was
Yeah.
getting sent out in an
Yeah.
email or a newsletter or.
I've gotten a list of, or we've gotten a list of through December.
Oh, yeah.
I just
did-
don't know,
Adam
I
did
mean,
send
it's
that.
all planned and it's there, but I don't know
Yeah.
where I got it. I don't do Facebook, so.
Can you send it to me?
Was it from Friends of the Mountain House? Did they have a?
Well, Adam had sent it out at some point.
Adam
Yeah,
sent
we had
it,
it
it's
at
in the
one time.
So
newsletter.
we have them all planned out through December.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so you'll send it out and everybody will get it.
Okay,
That's
good. Perfect. That's great. And then if
And he did that right after our meeting. I remember he did.
Yeah,
It was a few months ago.
okay, well, if he
Okay.
sends it out to everybody again, we're.
Yeah, I'll have him update that a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay, Jim, do you have anything more to add to that? Because I know it was a concern with Nathan.
Just-
I think
yeah.
Nathan also put it in print when the actual paper went out.
Yeah,
and it
and he
was-
has since he publishes weekly, you know, he's got a deadline probably Monday afternoon, maybe Tuesday morning if you're pushing it. So you know, we have to be sensitive to his deadlines. But he really wants to help the Mound House, so anything we give him, he'll run it, and it's really good exposure.
Yeah, I know
for us.
Gary Mooney.
Gary Mooney.
He's the same way. He'll email and
gosh, he'll
ask,
do
what do you have
anything.
coming up? And then we'll email it to him.
He's
so.
outstanding.
Yeah, he is.
He's got a history background, he's crazy
Oh,
about
yes.
numbers.
And I hate to jump around, apologies,
No.
but since Sherry has to leave by 3:30, let's talk about the renaming. I bet you that's what you really want to focus on. So let's go around the table. Let's start with Carrie.
Well, I mean, I have the book Newton Park, and I just know, with me living across the street, that I know a lot of people go. I'm like, you know, do you know where this is or this is? And as soon as I say Newton Park, people go, I know where that is. So, and these are people that are visiting. We're not talking about people on the island, and I think that's really, really important to us, because if people know that it's still there, I think that they're like, oh, that's great, that park's still there. Because a lot of them will go across the street, get their lunch at Publix, and then they sit there at the park and have lunch. Like, we're talking families. And you know, we go, I have a little Frenchie, we walk through there all the time, we talk to people all the time from all over the place. And we love it. It's a great little park. Now, we did have a little bit of a homeless issue going on for a little while, but we got that taken care of. But I mean, overall, I mean, I don't want us to lose that, especially after the hurricane. Unless we figure out a way to make it come back as Newton Park, but we also have another name for it. So I'm not opposed to whatever we come up with. I just want us to think about the general public that's gonna come to the island.
So maybe that could be done if we have a grand opening in June, July, whenever it gets in, and then do something again in January when people start to come back. I'm adamant about changing the name.
Okay.
I want Newton gone, and I don't have any good ideas. I haven't lived on the island all that. God, it has been a long time.
Give yourself some credit.
But the history, you know, is it a place name? I'm not interested in naming things for people.
Yeah.
Then you name it for somebody, you find out something awful, and then it's. So, you know, we already have Crescent Beach Park?
Yeah.
You know, we've got the Koreshan connection here. I wouldn't do that, anything like that. And we've got the Calusa connection here, but I don't know, you know. I'd like to hear people who've been here.
Okay, Sherry, you
Forever.
have.
I've been here a long time.
You've been here a long time. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I didn't, you know, I remember with all the common friends and stuff like that, and the connection, and then there is some notoriety with Jim Newton. But then after living here and talking to people that knew the Newtons, they really maybe weren't of quality to name things. I mean, I'll just say it, they had Nazi affiliations.
Okay, and see, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, and a lot of people knew it and things. The one thing we had tossed around, and unfortunately, they took it down, but there was a adorable little guest cottage that had a chimney on it and
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
And that was for the Newton's guests, and
Yes.
that was called Seven Seas.
Yep, that was
And
wonderful.
that was where we all thought, well, maybe we could just call it Seven Seas.
That's a catchy name.
And yeah, it's kind of, you're still keeping part of the history. And, you know, so I mean, so that would kind of be my suggestion. But we have an open slate, so I'm open to
Yeah.
anything.
That's interesting.
You know,
In
so-
terms of, you're saying that the name of the old cottage with the chimney was Seven Seas?
Yes.
That was Seven
Not
Seas.
not the other, okay.
In fact, it's named as Seven Seas,
Yeah.
not Newton Beach or Newton Park on a lot of documents.
On a lot of
Right,
documents,
right,
yeah.
exactly,
I did see that.
exactly.
I remember the Seven
Yeah,
Seas, and we
yeah.
all advocated for
Yeah,
that, for
mhm.
sure. But I thought for some reason it was
Yeah.
the one that was just destroyed in the
Yeah,
hurricane, that was actually
unfortunately,
the
yeah.
Seven Seas.
Oh, see, that's,
They
I was
took
under
it-
the
they
assumption
took
too,
it
it was the
down.
main one.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought, but
No, that was their house. That was their living
Yeah.
area.
Did they have a name
And
for
then-
their house?
Not that I don't know if it's in
I
the
don't,
book or not.
I don't
I've
remember
never-
that being in
That
the
is-
book.
Yeah.
I have the book at home, so I can look at it in the
Yeah.
condo.
So it just, I don't know, that just kind of fits, and it's still appropriate. And it's not named after, it's got some
And it
history
could be
to it.
mentioned, there could be a little historical thing because.
Yes, and we didn't
this
want
was-
that torn down.
No.
No, we didn't.
Oh,
It
we
was
sure
just
didn't.
so cool, but
Yeah.
it went with,
Oh yeah, I think we could do some kind of educational piece, because it
Just
has
say
to go
this
back
is
there
Seven
anyway.
Seas, the
I
name
think
of the
that-
blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah,
I think that
blah, with the
we
Newton
still-
connection.
well, and we did have a narrative, we did have the interpretive signage as part of the park experience where people could hear the history, and in
Yeah.
fact about the original old cottage, and then of course about the Newtons, and I think that
Yeah,
should
I think we
be,
can work
that's
it in,
appropriate.
but- right.
But, yes, so do you have an idea about what you think Seven Seas Park is what you're thinking?
Yeah,
Seven
exactly.
Seas Park?
That's just, it's only a suggestion, just something
Yeah.
that we thought would still fit, sounds good. But like I said, I'm open to anything.
It evokes a lovely image, but I will tell you what my parents, anytime they saw something like the seventh most beautiful lake in the world, and they said, Seven Seas, okay, well, there's the Atlantic, the Pacific, now I can only find 6. So,
Seven wonders of the world.
yeah, can you name them? The 8?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that, but that,
Yeah.
you know, but I said, I'm open to whatever. It's, but I would prefer not to see it, Newton Park.
Okay, thank you, Sherry.
Yes.
Betty?
We went through all this last month, it's in the minutes, and what we talked about, I don't think anything has really changed so far as I'm concerned. I liked 7 Cs. When you think of the Newton House, my vision is the many times we were invited there, and whether you were coming or going, Ellie is always there with her white hanky and welcoming people or telling them goodbye. I mean, they were a beautiful couple, but time marches on, and we do have an opportunity now. I'm in favor of changing the name. If it had been given to us, which that opportunity was there, and nothing ever came of it, so obviously that was not their desire. So I don't know why we would name it Newton Park again. And I like 7 Cs. I question whether or not people are really going to understand 7 Cs when we are not on a sea.
Exactly.
We're on the Gulf
True.
of Mexico.
True.
And so could we do something using the Gulf?
The water.
I mean, it's kind of an open slate right now.
Yeah.
I agree with you, yeah, and in fact, I think all of you have,
Yeah.
raised some really good points. I certainly agree with you, Carrie, that, first and foremost, this is going to be a park for residents,
Yes.
visitors to enjoy. It doesn't
Exactly.
matter whether you live here, you work here, or
Yeah.
you play here. That's for everyone to enjoy, and I think
Yep.
the intent is to continue that. That's the
Exactly.
point of any of our parks and open spaces that we have. That belongs to the town. So, good point there. With regard to Newton Park, I think, as you mentioned, Betty, we had that conversation last month.
We
However,
did.
we didn't vote on it, and what we need to do in the minutes not in the minutes, but in the agenda going forward, is that we should have board action. So there is an actual vote that needs to be taken. So, for example, when we vote on
Exactly.
the minutes, it's an official position that CELCAB takes to say this is our decision that was voted on. So if you would like to entertain a motion to say that CELCAB is recommending to council that the name Newton Park not be continued once we start looking forward to the reopening of Newton Park whenever that's done. Who knows? But and in the meantime, we could. And wasn't there a conversation about having a public input from an online survey? I believe there was a Survey Monkey kind of scenario where we could ask the community in general what they think about naming the park, so we get a greater input, not just from us. But then all of that goes to council and said, okay, council, here are some of our ideas, here's what the community thinks, and then make the final decision.
Love that idea.
Sounds good.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
If I could ask a couple questions, because I think Carrie has a good point in that there's a lot of name ID already built into Newton Park. And I love the fact that we're capturing the history with the 7 Cs idea, because they don't want to lose that history. 2 quick questions. Was the 7 Cs destroyed by a hurricane, or did the town tear it down?
Fell down.
Town tore it down.
Oh, it
the
fell
town
down?
took
Well, I mean, it
No,
kind of was
no,
so.
yes.
No, the town.
I've got a couple of the bricks from it.
Yeah.
Do you really?
Oh, I have
that's
them.
very
Yeah.
cool.
The town took it down,
That
didn't
would be
they?
really cool to
I
have
think we
it
should have an
as part of the park,
educational
yeah.
piece like
Well,
that.
There
They were in my
was
garage.
an
Oh, that would be a neat-
But I
interpretive
don't think
signage.
that there's anything left in that garage
No.
now. But
Oh,
That's
maybe
it.
I had a couple of those bricks from
From the
and-
chimney.
7 Cs. Oh, yeah.
Well,
I mean, it was a beautiful,
Yeah, beautiful chimney.
We must have gotten here
Fireplace.
about that time because
Yep.
I thought that it was not repairable. It was not
Didn't the town?
possible to put it to the point where, and then they were gonna just leave the chimney And there it stood for a couple,
Yeah.
and then it started to fall down, and that
Yeah.
was the end,
But
and it
there
was
were two
unsafe.
And then it
There
became
were two chimneys.
a hazard
Yes.
and
yes.
a liability to
So
the
that-
town.
Very helpful, so that was my first question. And second of all, the Nazi sympathy thing, I mean, since we've raised it, we probably ought to talk about it. Was that related to the relationship with Lindbergh, or, okay, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, not
Yep.
just that. It was the issue that the town had to buy that
Right, no,
property.
but the
Yes,
Nazi
that-
sympathy
and then
piece
the
was the-
sympathy,
Yeah.
Nazi sympathy. Well, and
Yes.
that was also a Henry Ford thing,
Yeah.
and
Right.
Exactly.
you know, ipso facto
Yeah.
Edison. So you know, and the idea that what's the name of that organization that started in Fort Myers?
Oh.
Not at the beach, but
No.
and it had those men as the masters or the influencers for those going forward dealing with business with integrity, which of course was such a juxtaposition given what their beliefs were back then, that why would they necessarily be held up to a high standard when in fact, in retrospect,
Are
that's
you
certainly not the
thinking
case.
of moral rearmament?
No,
Because that was
no,
Newton's
it's the
thing.
local. Oh gosh, it was
Remember that?
it's a nonprofit organization in
sounds
Fort
familiar.
Myers.
Yeah, moral
That-
rearmament.
No, this was a group in Fort Myers, and that book that you have. What's the name of that book?
Uncommon friends.
Yeah, uncommon
Okay,
friends.
that's the name of the book. That's the name of the nonprofit. It's called Uncommon
That's what I was
Friends.
gonna
And
say,
that did not
uncommon.
come from the Fort Myers beach.
No, I know
The
that.
beach had nothing to do with it. It all came from Fort Myers, and
Yep.
the idea, let's hold these men up to, you know, an example for young people to follow. And because Newton was part of that with Firestone, Ford, Edison, that was somehow sort of a
Alexis.
sidebar that this park was
Corral.
somehow connected. I just don't think it's politically correct to hold that
Yeah.
connection.
So if, I like the Seven Seas piece is so interesting because it's more neutral and it has the history piece that we can't lose that
We
history.
can't.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I
and
think that's a
Agreed.
bad thing
Yeah.
too.
But the other thing, if you wanted to go neutral, and just the two ideas popped in I had, one is Paradise Park and one is Renaissance Park. But I like the history idea, I like the
I
Seven
love the
Seas.
history
Yeah.
idea.
In spite of the fact that
And that's
you can't name
also-
seven
Well,
Cs.
you could always explain why it's 7.
That's what I was
I
just
think
gonna
we
say,
should.
you guys, we
It
could
is an
actually.
educational park.
Yep.
It is an educational park, let's utilize
That
it.
Uncommon Friends story is still interesting.
Yes, it
Even
is.
with the
yes.
flaws of the
exactly.
characters.
You're
Yeah.
I will tell you
Right.
guys, whenever someone stays at my condo, they always call me and tell me, because, you know, and they say, thank you for leaving that book out. That was very interesting and I loved it. And I love where we're sitting watching this park.
Yeah.
So you guys, you gotta remember, not everyone knows the back history of all that stuff, but some do. And I understand that. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying when you have a lot of tourists that comes to our island and that's what we try to do, you know, they love it. I mean, because those men did make a lot of things happen
Oh,
in
yeah,
our
they
country.
You just don't have to make it forefront.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I think that one of the things way back, you will remember, and you've brought it up fairly recently, we had plans and a draw of a lovely sign, which was high
Yes.
and arched.
Yes.
And the council said no because it did not fit the sign requirement.
Not this council.
Not this council. And you are so right. But the thing is, it is town property. If that sign could be put maybe a little bit further back, but that would help with the renaming.
Oh, you bet.
I do like the history. It doesn't negate the Newton connection. It's sort of,
right,
but it's,
exactly.
it is an,
But it's still,
Ties it
yeah,
all
like I
together.
said.
Yep.
is it
Yeah.
alliterative or that other one?
Is it what?
Oh, you know when things start with the same consonant,
Alliterative.
is it alliterative or? Yes, because,
Yeah.
sorry, yes. It's good.
Well, do we agree to change the name?
Yes.
Yes.
Would there be a motion?
I
would
We've
move.
decided without knowing
Yeah.
what that next name is.
I would move to change the name
Okay, Betty
of
Simpson
Newton Park.
is okay.
I would second that motion.
I would third.
Okay, further discussion from anyone?
You know, we talked about a survey monkey, which could be interesting, although we'll get that one McGillicuddy boat thing. But I wonder about the kids in the beach school. If something could be Do you think the beach school kids could come up with something better than Seven
You know,
Seas, or should we go
when-
with Seven Seas?
When we
I think we're not going
Yeah.
with Seven Seas today.
Right, we're just trying to decide.
When we incorporated, we put out a whole big contest to everybody to come up with an emblem
Yep.
for the new, for
And the
town.
kids loved it.
And the kids loved it. But then, in the end, it really wasn't, there was a lot of controversy about it. You know, so I think if the simpler we keep it, maybe the better.
I agree.
That just
It's
stop.
like art by committee.
Yeah, yeah,
You never know.
yeah, exactly. That's what it was. So that's not
better.
a local turtle, that's not, you know, that's a Kent Riddle turtle.
Yep.
Change that, you
Sometimes
know.
simple is
Okay,
better.
thank you, Sherry.
You're welcome.
All right, I appreciate it. So we have a motion on the table and we have a second. And the motion is that we, as CELCAB members, have voted to change the name of Newton Park.
Correct.
To be determined as to what the next name would be. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you.
Yes, and I
Okay.
apologize that I have to leave.
Of
that
course,
I have
I
another-
apologize for being late.
That's okay. I've got
Congratulations
that
on
I
your
have
new
a
vice
court
It's okay.
to run.
You'll have to
Good
read
see
the minutes.
everybody.
Barbara,
Yes,
just
so
from
nice
a,
meeting you.
from a PR standpoint, I think we need to be careful because right now, there's a lot of coconut telegraph stuff going on and we're recovering from the hurricane. So my suggestion would be at your earliest convenience to come to the council with this recommendation, because if we don't explain it, people are
Yes.
gonna think we're crazy.
That's a
You
great
bet.
idea.
And look at
Yeah.
Ian, and I think with the
Yeah.
background, people would understand, and especially, I would begin to tease out the Seven Seas concept,
Yeah.
just so people understand we're not throwing the history out the window.
Oh, no.
I just think we need to manage the message, otherwise it's gonna get out, oh, they're changing the name of Newton Park, and then everyone will speculate as
Yeah.
to why and what
Are
it's
they
gonna-
changing the name of the beach?
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
We just got out of a
Good
hurricane,
point.
you know, I just think we have to manage the message, and you're
And
very
from
good at
time to
that.
time, we
Good
do
point.
have monthly reports,
Yep.
as
Oh,
would
yes.
Bay Oaks and all the others, to say, okay,
Yep.
here's our update. We really
Good
haven't
point.
had
And
anything.
I can, if you're unable to make it, I can mention it to the council, but I just
No,
think
no,
we need
I'm
to.
happy,
Okay,
I'm
good.
happy to do it, but we haven't had a status report presented to council because really there has been very little done.
And I
in
would
terms
include the
of-
desire to create a new site plan for the park, just so people begin to
Yeah.
realize that dramatic things are happening.
Oh,
Yeah.
you bet.
Okay.
And
And
then
positive
people
things.
keep thinking
Yeah.
it's Sir Isaac Newton who has no claim to the island at all.
Right.
And Newton, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I think too that, you know, in terms of respecting the history, there's a lot of narrative, interpretive panels that will go back up that were there, like where that old house, that old cottage was. There was actually the square footage
yes, they
footprint
did.
that stayed on the property. That didn't go away. That showed, that said this was the original footprint.
Yeah.
So I think all of that is going to be explained, the whole Seven Seas, the Newton family connection in the interpretive signage.
That's good.
My personal, because I get a voice, I guess, after the fact because we've already voted on it, but in terms of the actual name, seas, just like ocean, doesn't resonate with me. And frankly, because I'm a local, and Betty and I'm actually predating you
Yep.
for a couple of years. So I'm pulling the history
Pulling
card,
rank on
baby.
you, Betty.
Barbara was like,
I think you came in what, 56? No, you came
54.
50, I came the same year you did that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we both came in 1954.
Yep.
So I'm going to pull the history card and I'm going to say those people that use the word sea or ocean, you can tell they're not local. You can
Yeah.
tell they're from somebody
Oh,
else,
yeah.
someplace else. And I just revere the name because the Gulf is descriptive.
The Gulf.
Where Seven Seas is not necessarily. So just to give some ideas about going forward, I don't have a preference name yet. Haven't come up with one.
What you mean, are you thinking like something like Gulfside Park? Or,
Yeah, I mean, we
Or-
have Bayside Park, we could have Gulfside Park, great
Yes.
idea.
You bet.
Gulfside Park, I
That
think,
which
sounds
is
good.
descriptive, and
Yeah.
maybe,
I
and
like
I
that.
really agree with you about, we may have our own ideas about tossing out the name, but a lot of people don't, and we need to
Exactly.
be very careful about that.
Oh, sure.
But this way, the house is gone. We cannot bring it back. That was the Newton's house. It's gone. we are starting over, we're gonna do a new site plan, we're gonna incorporate Strand View, Gulf Strand View. I don't know, I mean,
Strand View is a brainstorm and come up with ideas.
oh yeah, don't do that.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Isn't that the
But
name of the street?
now that you mention it, Becky, Gulfside is,
Yes.
because you have, the town has
Gulfside
Bayside, we have Gulfside, we have the Crescent Beach, which of course
Yep.
is the county,
Right,
but there's something
it
very
makes sense.
elegant
And
and
then
descriptive.
And
And
neutral, and that,
And
that is
neutral.
neutral.
And neutral.
I'm not debating that, it is golf site.
Yeah, we have to stay neutral.
And I think the chamber, or even TDC, will want us to think in terms of the uniqueness of our island by using that word Gulf.
You bet.
It helps describe where we are.
You
And
bet.
when you're talking about the town of Fort Myers Beach, the town has Bayside property, waterfront
Sure.
is here as well, and now Gulfside.
Now we have Gulfside
um,
Park.
Great idea.
And the
I
last
love
time
it.
we opened the naming rights up to the public
Yes.
was the beach access near Margaritaville, and of course the public came up with the idea wasted away.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
very clever, so actually it's
Yeah, it was
perfect,
fun.
better idea.
yeah, yeah.
And
Good idea.
it's not even Gulf View, because Gulf View is,
Yeah.
in the parlay of real estate.
Right.
That just shows you can actually see it, but no.
standing on the toilet looking out the bathroom window.
Well,
Exactly.
I can see the Gulf from my mailbox and I live halfway down the street. So,
And
anyway,
maybe not opening it up to more people thinking about it.
Yes.
Let's just think
And
about it.
still with a plaque with 7 Cs, with the, I don't know if the footprint would still be there for 7 Cs. And I don't
really?
think that there was a footprint for the other cottage as well.
I would say with all the digging they've done there, they've
Yeah, I'm
probably
It'd be
not
pretty hard.
Well,
It's been a mess.
I
Yep.
think they put it in afterwards, because I'm guessing
Yep.
it was up on stilts a little bit, up on some sort of piling.
Betty, do you know if
There were
anybody?
short piling there.
yeah,
Sure.
it was up on piling.
There were
so-
So it was just blocks laid
Yes,
out where
yes.
that thing was, which would be,
Yep. But the
Whether we wanna do that or
fireplace was
not.
beautiful.
And
The
the,
what?
and the
The
reason why.
fireplace was.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
and the reason
I
why we didn't. go
Stole a
outside-
couple of those rocks.
Oh, yeah. Those two?
strategically placed.
Building a new house.
I'm a thief at
Well,
heart.
that was my question. Did the town hand those out as some kind of a memento?
Oh, no. I
They just tore it down?
She stole
I
it.
just thought, do you know anybody else who grabbed one as
Oh,
well?
okay.
Because, but it'd be neat to almost to fix it if we're gonna do a giant sign,
That's,
Yeah.
fix
yeah.
a piece of the
Yeah.
stone from the,
Oh,
if we do 7
because I had a couple pieces, but of course they were in my garage, and
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
the garage is gone. But
I wonder if anyone would have those on the island,
wonder
because
too.
there are
I
people.
don't
You know-
know. And somebody might have them.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder if
Betty,
anyone-
you think about it, and then if you can't find one, you look around and see if you can find something that looks like it.
If you find one, how do you know it came from that chimney?
Okay. I'll take you with me.
Getting
Will-
back to the two cottages and the determinant for deciding which of the two to destroy was hugely controversial, as Betty and you too, right? Because you remember the Bill Grace, for example, really wanted the historic cottage, but it was too small to have events take place. It was
Yeah.
just too broken up, and it was not in the best repair.
Oh.
So because we
It
were
was a
able
little
to
tiny cottage.
tiny little cottage,
I
tiny
mean-
little, yeah.
I'll bet maybe Susan might have a picture of it. I'll bet she does.
That would be great.
Yeah, if we could have a photo of it, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we'd want to incorporate that onto a sign.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll call Susan, I have to talk to her anyway.
Yep.
You have
We do?
some? Oh, yeah, that'd be great if you guys could look into that. That'd be wonderful.
You
Well,
wanna look
that's
first and
where
let
the
me
whole
know?
grant,
Okay, thank you.
application came from, was Mount House.
Yeah.
This all came through the Mount House when we acquired that.
Perfect.
So you should have it. Okay, so, where are we with Friend of the Mount House? Do you know, we were supposed to have a coordinator, and Becky was appointed as coordinator in 2021 to be the liaison between the Friends
Yes.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the Mount
yeah.
House. And are you still?
I do. I am no longer on the board, but
Well, that's even better.
which might make it better. We do have Ellen, who really does have a much better idea of what's going on, but
Yeah, she's been given kind of the reports,
she has been giving the reports.
but if there's an actual appointed, not appointed, but a,
Yeah, it shouldn't necessarily be the president of the Friends. It should be.
Less incestuous that way. Less incestuous.
So again, if you look back at the membership, at the strategic plan, it does indicate that, you know, there should be a coordinator that Jeff or someone from the staff can be the liaison between the Friends and the, periodically. It doesn't have to be monthly. You can go months, just like we've gone months without having, you know, a CELCAB meeting. So it's not a requirement on a monthly basis. But just to keep that conversation.
To let people know what was going on with the Friends. And it truly does not make sense when Jeff is gonna, if Jeff talks to me and I have to talk to Ellen and Ellen talks to me and talk to Jeff or Adam, that doesn't make sense to be a coordinator, but to report on, which I already did, you missed it, I'm sorry.
Okay, I just
Island
like
Hopper
that.
was a great success.
I think the issue, though, in terms of all of these questions that we have going forward is all related to the strategic plan. So I just want to go down, like say the Newton Park Master Plan, the site plan, that is definitely something that we want to have as the next agenda item according to the rest of CELCAB from what I gathered, as well as the issue of a draft for the strategic plan. The marketing and PR plan and the social media campaign was to be in place 2022. But that's, I know the Arts and Attractions grant, that was for social media and all of the online or the online marketing. But again, to the point with our local papers and our members, who's in charge of making sure that we get the information well in advance. So I just have a question of what that marketing plan is. I don't know who has it. I've not seen it. Have you seen it? You haven't seen it?
No.
A marketing plan for marketing the Mountain House. So.
No, I haven't seen anything.
Okay, well, there was one developed, but if we don't have one, we need to develop one.
We can develop.
And then that needs to, obviously it can be vetted by us, and we provide recommendations to council. Okay, we went through the Gary Mooney thing. Digitizing the museum collection is something that, number one, we need to put into the strategic plan. It may not happen tomorrow, but we want to put it in as a goal, and we need to do a little research and development on how, who can do this, how much is it going to cost, how long is it going to take, sort of a feasibility study on what that entails. But it is so crucial, especially now, having gone through this hurricane, that we don't have a digital version of virtually all of the artifacts that this town owns, which is part of our requirement to going for AAM accreditation. And again, that's another question I have for staff. Where are we on the accreditation process?
Well, I don't know if Adam, you want to talk a little more in detail about it, but I do know Adam and I talked about our collection in general, and nothing in our collection is, what's the word? A session. So we have to go through and collect
Do the
all of our
inventory.
it and accession it before we can be accredited, and we have
Tons.
thousands
Yeah.
of things we have to go through. So
I'll bet.
when I was talking to Adam, and I hope this is an accurate portrayal of our conversation, he said it might take years to do that with a full-time person. So I'm just giving timelines of what we had talked about and the amount of archives we have in our collection.
And so obviously one of the goals was to achieve museum accreditation, and if that's the requirement, why are we not seeing that in our strategic plan going forward and making steps to make that happen? And again, if it's a question of, if we're running a museum, we have to act like we're running
Yeah.
a museum. It's not a community center. And I know we're bringing a lot of the advisory board meetings here, and that's all well and good. But our basic goal here is to advance the notion of the mission to which we are responsible. And part of that is our collection. In fact, the most important part of it is. So
Yeah,
if that's not documented, if it's not accessioned, professionally, and if it's not digitized, and we have another hurricane come in, and thank God, this building was fairly intact, and I don't know what happened of the items that were off storage, off site, but it's a concern.
Yeah, and we even talked about the whole process of accepting some a piece for our collection, and it's not even there isn't a form that we have. There's not anything that says, look, we received this from you. We want to get something that the lawyer's gonna to draft up. We don't have that right now.
No,
so
we don't even have a gift form, right?
Correct. So I know Adam's been working really hard on that whole process and getting it right with his museum background, obviously, and his education to get those steps right.
Okay.
To getting our collection, accessioned and getting the accreditation maybe eventually after it gets digitized. So it's just going to be a process from now on. And I kind of said, well, not having any background in that, nothing got started, and it didn't sound like it had for whatever reason, but we don't have an inventory.
Was a list, there was an inventory list, but there wasn't an accession number attached to it, a catalog number. It's never been documented in catalog.
So that's something that we're gonna hire a collections person for that, and then that's gonna be their job, is basically to do that for us.
Okay.
And would that be then a short or long-term goal?
Definition of short or long term, I don't.
Would that be a budgetary question? Because if so, and it's important to the mission, why would that proposed position not be presented to council for
It's already, we're
additional-
hiring for it. It's already.
You're hiring a collections manager?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, because I'm chair of CELCAB, I had no idea.
Yeah.
So again, it's not in the director's report. I would think I would know this, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, and again, I think the last time when we met last month, I did ask for an organizational chart to see just who does what and who's responsible for.
Right.
Did we have
You
some?
did.
I'll get you a current one, but we do have some
Changes.
changes coming.
Because then, if that were the case, I would have then seen on your organizational chart a position, a block that says collections manager to be filled. At least I know that those steps have been taken. So thrilling. I'm glad to hear it.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Okay. Again, the collections policy, because we talked about that before. I'm glad you're moving forward with that. The facility rental fee. Is there? I don't know what the charges are currently. So if it's nonprofit or for-profit. Perhaps that can be an agenda item,
Or just send out what there is.
Oh, we can. I can
Yeah,
send
it's
out
already
what we'll talk
set.
about.
Yeah, if you could email that.
Yeah, it's already set. but-
We did talk about, and remember, didn't we just talk about that too before,
Yeah.
Barbara, before you got here? We did talk about it's pretty low right now, and then maybe adjusting some of the rates on that so that we can actually start making some money.
Yeah.
Especially with weddings, because there's no place else to have a wedding
well,
right
I
now.
think we have established a facility rental of something.
We
like
have a
that.
fee schedule.
We've got a fee schedule.
Okay,
We have-
We just didn't
I
really want to mess with it this year because we didn't really get to implement it last year.
okay.
So we kept it the same,
Okay.
except for some things like beach access, the weddings and that.
It was
thing.
beach access,
Rentals.
yeah.
So,
Okay,
We didn't do
everything
it.
that's town related, like our meeting here at the Mount House, is just a town cost then. It's not that we, as CELCAB members or Bay Oaks members
No.
have to pay, but everyone else does.
yes, everyone else.
Okay, and just a separation of church and state question. With regard to the church group that meets, is that in conflict with our,
The Faith Center has every right, just like any other not-for-profit group, to be here.
okay,
And I've been in a couple times. It's a beautiful service. They do a great job, and they're very respectful of the grounds. But from a First Amendment standpoint, absolutely. Yeah,
Right.
it's not during business hours.
Right.
I mean, it's not part of the official Mount House mission. It's just part of renting a
rental.
facility.
Rental, it's a rental, so they
Okay.
pay the same rate as
Yes,
everyone else.
absolutely.
Okay.
And that probably would be a nonprofit rate. I mean, I know we used to
Yes.
have two different rates,
Yeah.
right? So if a Muslim, or if a synagogue
Absolutely.
came in,
Yeah,
they would
anybody.
be offered the
Anyone.
same rate. Okay, good. I'm
As long
glad
as
you
we're open,
clarified.
I did ask our attorney about it too, just to make sure.
Yes.
Good.
And yeah, she said as long as we're open to anyone that would like to,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
as long as what they're doing on the property is lawful.
Yes,
Good.
exactly.
You
I
bet.
will tell you that I think in the charter for the Friends of the Mound House, there would be no charge for the Friends using Mound House facilities within the, the purview of
Yeah.
what was going on, and as long as it was okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
I think if Friends is going to host or organize a fundraiser and it's 200 people and we have to hire additional people for cleanup or security or whatever, those are costs incurred by Friends as the cost of doing business. So that would be your gross fundraising goal, separating out all of those, costs. So that the town doesn't bear the financial responsibility of hosting a fundraiser. So it's part of the budget that you bring up. Right?
And I don't know how that was handled in the past. I don't think we've ever been charged for staff presence. I think it's been worked around with time off and flex time sort of thing. Absolutely, if we had to hire cops or parking people or
Right.
something,
Yeah.
that absolutely would have to be a Friends,
Yeah.
You bet.
Friends thing.
That's a Friends
But the Friends
expense.
were not charged $50 to have
No.
their meetings here.
Right,
No.
yeah, gotcha, exactly. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
And
to
that's,
clarify.
and that's included in the rental fee for everyone else. We always have a staff on board.
Yeah.
All
What
right,
else?
I think, the Baptist church parking, did you check into that, see what the status is?
We used, you mean to use it?
They used
We had an original agreement with the
Oh,
Baptist
no, I didn't know
church.
what,
The parking, we brought that up.
I did
last
talk to, I don't know about the agreement, if there's a written one, but, I did talk to Pastor Sean, and he said we're available to use it whenever we want. But we should see if there's a written one.
Well, and I mean, I
Yeah,
think
we need
if that's
something in
appropriate,
writing.
we should
I
put
think we should
signage
get
up
it in
whenever
writing.
there is an event, so that it's not, they're not gonna say, well, what the heck is this?
And we did, for the Sunriders, we put
We did.
additional parking,
Right.
Yeah.
a sign that pointed right to the Beach Baptist.
And we
spot.
had
Oh,
people,
fantastic.
And
and we
people
had
were there.
people down
Yeah,
there
people were down.
directing.
And did people park there and everything and walk down?
Yeah,
Oh, great.
we had a shuttle actually that went, a van that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And shuttle people.
I just had another question maybe for Adam about the status of the Resilient Lee cultural planning. Is there anything new?
Nothing new. They are finalizing their draft proposal that they're making for Lee County, the Lee County Council, I think that's their name. So they're presenting that tentatively at their December council meeting.
And you'll be attending that?
Not the council meeting, because they're
Oh, the
presenting their plan.
Got
A great deal of the cultural part of the branch committee that I've been attending has been a focus on the arts and artist colonies. And there's been a separation of land and park-based cultural organizations and clumping them under the parks. So I think there's an established formula that is being adjusted to our area that is going to be a part of the proposal.
Okay.
But I did voice my concern of the historical and archaeological resources of Fort Myers Beach, but also the broader county.
Well, thank you for that, and thank you for being there at those meetings, Adam, much
You're welcome.
appreciated. And the fact that you became aware of it is
Yes,
awesome. I
thank you for
guess
telling us.
I was
Yes.
just a little curious, because if Edison Ford Winter Estates Foundation or their estates is getting money, we should get the money too, so.
It appears as though it's going to be given to the county, and then the county will decide
Who
a
gets-
later date in terms of allocation. In terms of the actual cultural part of the plan, it's more of making recommendations and including culture within emergency disaster response, so that cultural heritage professionals are present during disasters and are mindful, no, you can't park and build a triage center in the art museum, things like that,
Right,
for
okay.
example.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's things like that, so yeah, thank you again for letting us know it was going on, and somebody from, I can't even remember where, said, oh, they don't have any cultural resources on the island. And we were like, what?
What?
Yeah, that's what they
That's
had
our
told.
name.
That's what they had told us, was, yeah, so.
They didn't know that was our
And it
name.
was part of the Resilient League, and we had no idea it was going on.
Interesting.
Well,
Because somebody said we don't have that on the island. Somebody, I don't know if it was the town or.
I think the other part of that too is not just cultural, it was the entire town of Fort Myers Beach wasn't represented either. And so Fort Myers is represented, but only the city of Fort Myers. They didn't even think about the town of Fort Myers Beach as actually being a separate municipality until
And
after
quite
the
a
fact.
distance away.
A totally different town. All right, I know this meeting is going too long, so have we completed all the business at hand?
I think so.
I have a question. There is a new schedule starting sometime for the museum. I
Yes.
thought, okay, it's changed from my original information, so if you would give us the museum schedule?
Yeah, so starting next week, the museum will be open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Closed Sunday,
Okay.
Monday, Tuesday.
Good.
The museum, not the grounds.
All right, okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's just the
Museum.
museum then, okay.
Yes, this building.
Okay.
Okay,
The grounds will continue being open 7 days a week
Mhm.
from 7:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m.
6:30 p.m.
Is that even given daylight savings time? I remember we used to just have sunset to sunrise, or is that just too much of a moving target?
Yeah, we decided based on, because we're getting a lot of help from base and assisting us in securing the facilities.
Sure.
After the culture parts
Okay.
staff leave for the day. It's easier to have a set time.
Yeah.
Because, sunset in May is 8:30, 9 o'clock sometimes.
Right.
So
And
it's
of
not
course,
really fun.
base no longer exists, it's neighborhood services.
Oh.
Neighborhood services.
Kinder and gentler.
Okay, what is this? It's not.
There's no
I
more
know
base,
this.
it's now called neighborhood services. There's gonna be a whole paradigm shift on enforcement, on beach patrol. They're gonna have a new mission, more ambassadors than punitive type dynamic. It's gonna be they're doing some really innovative things.
I
Nice.
love that.
Yeah.
I like
That's
that.
great.
Yeah.
Base sort of had a militaristic
Yeah.
vibe to it, didn't it? That sounds good.
Yeah, it's real
Neighborhood
popular. Neighborhood services.
services. Okay, great. So do you have anything more to report, Jim?
I would just, a couple things I was going to suggest on the media stuff, Adam. We were talking before about the Observer and how you really almost have to email it directly to Nathan at the Observer in advance because he's got deadlines because he's a weekly publisher. But there's also a couple other publications. Sandy Sandus has the Fort Myers Beach Living, which is a monthly publication. You might be able to plant an article in there. You have to do that pretty far in advance. Gary Moody's involved.
Yeah,
in
we've
it.
been in contact with him about events.
And then there's another entity popping up. Chris Doyle has something called the FMB Islander, and he's on Facebook. He's got a lot of history on the island. He does some beautiful coverage, non-controversial coverage of the island. Very, very good source to get information to. And then too, on your speakers piece, if you have a good speaker that's coming up and you're trying to get some earned media, you might want to suggest that to Beach Talk Radio. Maybe they go on Beach Talk the Saturday before their lecture and all of a sudden drum up some interest, and you might be able to get some good earned media not only for the speaker but also for the Mount House and so forth. Just, the media piece, I know you have a full-time job, but you have to really work these folks and manage them and handhold and feed them, because right now in particular there's a real shortage of content, so they're really hungry for content. So if you do the work, they'll, like, if you do write an article for the newsletter for Beach Talk Radio, they'll run it, and because they're always looking for good content. So just think about that as you're managing all the 500 things you're doing.
Right, exactly. And Adam, I did offer too, I have an ad agency, I'd be more than happy to help you send those out to whoever you guys need to send out to. My office we send out press releases continuously across the country. So we'll be happy to help in any way.
We'll send them out across the country then.
Yeah, I'll be happy to.
Why
Push
not?
the button.
And so in this case, I think what I'm hearing is that you would like to volunteer for the Mound House but that not necessarily as a CELCAB member per se.
Sure,
because, you know,
exactly.
that our role is really sort of in a different capacity,
Yes.
but we need
Sure.
all the volunteers.
But we need all the help we can get.
So, absolutely. Just make
That'd be
sure
good.
you understand what those
Yes,
differences
yeah,
are.
totally different.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go around the room, member items and reports. Anything to report?
know.
I don't have anything further.
No,
Betty?
our next meeting would be November 15th.
November 15th, does that work for everyone?
Yep.
And please tell me.
Is it going to be at 2 or at 3?
Wait a minute, wait,
It's up to you
wait.
guys.
November
Wait.
the 15th.
Today is Wednesday
Yes.
because the museum is closed. Next, that Wednesday, the museum will be open.
Open.
I really don't like having meetings when the museum is open.
And it's here's the other thing is hopefully by then or shortly after, we're gonna be having almost a chambers in the town hall trailers when they reconfigure them. So we could bring they'll have, you know, they'll have all the equipment set up there, so that
Okay.
might be an option. We're just not sure on a definitive date yet. It's gonna be right around there. So if we
That's
wanna
a-
set up maybe one more here and then we'll move.
But we don't want to have it on Wednesday then, correct?
I'm for changing it.
I'm fine with changing it.
Can we do it on a
Yeah.
Tuesday?
Let's
Yeah.
look,
So
let's
it'd
look
be
at
like
the dates that
14th.
we are closed, so we're
Okay.
not
Monday and
putting
Tuesday.
in-
Monday and Tuesday, so it'd
Monday
be the
and Tuesday.
13th and 14th.
Which one?
Or if you did it the following week, then it's Thanksgiving, and I don't think that's gonna
No, no.
be
I
Yeah.
think the 14th works.
14th?
14th?
Didn't we used to, we met on
Yeah.
Thursdays before, I remember, Thursday, yeah. November
3 o'clock?
14th.
You wanna do
Now,
three?
what time?
What time is best for you?
What else is scheduled here? That's the other thing is
Well, yeah.
did anybody else get in first?
Nothing's scheduled on the 14th.
Okay.
99% sure, but I will double check.
So CELCAB will be, can we have do we need it earlier?
I'm fine with 3 o'clock, that's somehow stuck in my brain because
That's
we've
stuck
done
in my
it for so
brain.
many years.
You know, if we do it at 3, it would mean that somebody else could meet at 1, and that, other than if you do 2, you can't do 1, you can't do 3. So
Okay.
how about 3?
And for
3?
this, I mean, we
Okay.
aren't gonna be hosting as many meetings here.
Right.
Going
And if
forward.
you have to change the venue, that's fine, we just
3 o'clock on the 14th then.
probably Mount
November
House.
14th,
I
excellent.
think
Okay.
the new venue, if it's ready, I think, Jacob here? But I mean, it's gonna actually be retrofitted with all the audiovisual. That way if somebody needed to call in,
Yeah,
it's
that's
gonna have a lot of
Okay.
time.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah, instead of
Which makes sense, so if it's ready, we'll be there, if it's not ready, we'll be
Okay.
here.
They just
Yeah.
don't, it's right on the bubble, so I
Yeah.
don't think
Yeah.
they would know yet.
Or
Yeah.
would we
That
want to
sounds
switch it
good.
back to Wednesdays and stay at Wednesdays?
No, I think.
Wednesdays we're open, the museum will be open,
Oh,
so.
okay.
I
No,
mean,
no, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about this
Afterwards,
particular
it can
meeting.
be-
Yeah, we
Do
can
we
switch
wanna-
it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
You can
because
decide
flying in and
next
out,
meeting.
I can't get here on.
Do you need a
the
motion?
flights are down
I think we need a
Tuesdays.
motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Thank you, Betty.
Thank you,
Second?
Betty. I second.
Second, Karen, second. All those in favor?
Ooh, it means I'm lucky
I
today.
think it does.
Meeting's adjourned. Okay, what time is
I
it?
think it's that time.
4:05. 4:05.
Thank you for noticing.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you need to sign this.
Okay.
Do we all need to sign it?
No, I just need to sign and give it to. Today is the, gosh, and I have it on my calendar, it's 3 o'clock.
I thought I remembered a conversation, I wrote it down as 2. I thought we had a conversation we needed to do it earlier. Was it an appointment or something?
No,
or something?
listen, I'm sure you guys are right. I'm sure I'm wrong,
Yeah,
so.
because
yeah.
I got a notice saying that it was at 2.
Yeah, I got a notice too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I have a minute
I
of
was
time?
gonna ask you the same thing.
Okay, all right, let me just write this thing down here.
Well, thanks everyone. I'm so happy to finally get to meet everyone in person.
nice to
Jim,
meet
I
you.
didn't get a chance to actually.
Are you in Ocean Harbor?
I know. I'm in. I'm White Cap. I'm right there at Union. I mean, I look at it every day.
So nice to meet you in
So
person.
yes, same here. I know we've chatted, but yes, it's so nice to meet you in person.
Thanks for volunteering.
Yeah, if anyone needs
time,
anything,
Barb.
let me know.
What's that?
Barbara,
Yes,
see you next
All
time.
right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
Oh, yes, of course,
Thank you for
Becky.
taking us on again.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
And
We
here you
resorted
are.
to Scotch tape, not even.
This is what you needed.
Yes, I
Are
will
we
get that
ready?
to Abe.
Thank you.
We are ready.
Take care now.
When are you
Okay.
getting back in?
Well, we gave up and we bought another place at Waterside
You did.
because we
I know,
didn't
I
see
know.
any light at the end of the tunnel.
No, They're talking April 1st for a good many people.
I talked to somebody from your board the other day, they're having some challenges with the fire department, getting the permitting through, and so I gave them some advice and,
Oh, good,
yeah.
good. We need, yeah, that fire department and permits. I'm about ready to go to
People
their
forget
meetings.
that for commercial properties and condos, fire has a big role in all that, and they're,
Yeah,
so that we would.
yeah, well, they're not always reasonable if you ask me.
Just, sometimes they just need a little nudge, yeah.
So you're not in your place, you don't see any hope